I hit a woman for the first time in my life, and I'm having fun.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Girls are here to be sexy for me. Throw it back on a nigga. And that's why you're gonna drop that ass for a nigga, because you were put here to drop that ass for a nigga.
that like button, y'all. We are about to get to it.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
Make it stop. Make the hurt stop, please. Like.
Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
This makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle.
Niggas have motion except for me. There has to be one real nigga left in America, in this damn country.
Yeah, I just got escorted from Brian Kirk, baby.
We're in Tampa, Florida for Turning Point USA's annual Student Action Summit. TPUSA is a voter-driving juggernaut for the Republican Party, led by 31-year-old Charlie Kirk.
They're happy. That's why, you know, they haven't been on social media.
But this year's event will be menaced by something called the Un-F America Tour, started by a group of progressive influencers and organizers, including the massively popular streamer Destiny.
This is the all roads lead to Rome thing, right? So he can do the exact same behavior that Biden couldn't get away with doing.
They want to bring progressive debate to Kirk's doorstep. But first, they have to get in.
So Turning Point has cancelled all of Un-F America's credentials, and now they're trying to sneak in Destiny so he can debate inside here. All right, he's in. So Destiny has made it inside the building, and we'll see how long he lasts.
There's a major streamer named Destiny, who's a Democratic liberal streamer. He appears to be debating Myron Gaines, who's more of a right-wing red pill guy. They're both sort of creatures of like internet trolldom, but it should be a lot of fun. You know, it's like blood sports. It's like watching a cockfight, effectively.
We love to see it, though.
We love to see it. It's great.
We are at Student Action Summit. We got Destiny and Myron here today. Have a little friendly conversation.
Oh, yeah, man. Good to see you, bro.
Young people may be tuning out the news, but this new form of live, provocative political debate is blowing up online. Its cultural significance is something well known to Kirk because he's part of it.
Oh, it's democratic socialism. It's completely different.
I love this question.
And I
can talk about socialism for hours.
Hello, everyone. I am Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, and I am surrounded by 20 woke college kids.
Under a tent with the words "Prove me wrong," Kirk brought online debater culture directly to hundreds of college campuses during the last election cycle.
We have a problem in Black America.
You know, I really wish they would have corrected that. Kirk did not popularize the "prove me wrong" thing. That was actually Steven Crowder, who is another debater. He's a right-wing commentator who's on the outs with the mainstream right wing. You know, big conservative ink is kind of not really feeling Steven Crowder, but he did create the convince me or whatever it is, the change my mind college format thing. So shout out to Crowder for that.
The biggest problem is not racism. It's the lack of dads. When exactly do heart waves begin in utero?
You know that, but you don't know the four.
Hold on, no, tell me when.
I don't know.
And while he uses it to make viral content, its primary goal is to register Gen Z to vote MAGA.
I love the fact that we are now becoming we're becoming the cool kids now.
But no, I just want to be clear. Is there something wrong with talking to voters?
No, there's nothing wrong with talking.
Well, that's what we're doing here today. It's an open mic.
I think that you push a dangerous agenda.
It's a strategy that those behind UNF America say the DNC has been absent to counter.
I hate Charlie Kirk. I think he's actually a Satan spawn, but he's very, very strategically minded.
At an event organized by the UNF America crew down the street from the convention center, both conservatives and liberals packed into a pub to eat chicken wings, drink beer, and watch conservative voices try to take on Destiny.
Have you ever fired me off?
Now, for a while now, the left wing has been attempting to reclaim some of this territory in the online area, the online debate area in particular, because a lot of these panels or on these live streams, especially even if it's a one-on-one conversation, it kind of becomes a low-key debate. And it's a great chance for you to wave your team's flag and highlight all the reasons why people should believe in your team and your vision. And the right wing has been killing that space for years now. That's what brought me online. I was watching all this content. I got sucked into talking about it myself. And then the left, especially after the election, they've been noticing their man problem and now their message problem. It's not a messaging problem. It's a message problem in that don't nobody want to hear their message anymore.
Yeah. So you fired 5.56. The mathematical odds of him surviving that are infinitesimally small.
They're infinitesimally high if it misses him or breaks his ear.
Charlie Kirk's been doing this a long time, more than 10 years. Why has it taken the left so long to catch up and still hasn't caught up?
Republicans vertically are very well integrated when it comes to making sure that they're winning elections.
Yeah.
Right? There's the people who in 2020, they thought the election was stolen in every state, basically.
Yeah.
But they still shut up to vote next time. So something is happening there where they're really big on going out and winning elections. And I think that shows at every single level, to where when people are organizing or when people are creating alternative media networks, whether you're talking Tim Pool, influencing other ones like Joe Rogan, or trying to do things with college kids like Charlie Kirk, they're making these events and they're gathering all these different people. For Charlie Kirk, it's school kids, but the single focus is winning elections. It's incredibly important. And somehow I feel like on the left, I don't know how this happened online. Maybe it's because we tend to be younger or whatever, but somehow the party's messaging apparatus, it feels like it's kind of hijacked from people by people who won't vote for your candidates, which I think is incredibly destructive.
Now, for whatever reason, two people have emerged as the left-wing antidote to popular right-wing bro culture. And we have somebody mentioned Hassan in the chat earlier. I know Hassan had that photo shoot with GQ magazine, but it really looks incredibly sus, bro. And I do not want to talk about Hassan and GQ. He turned that whole thing into Gay Quarterly magazine, and it was terrible. And now they got Destiny on the other hand, and this is their attempt to reach out to online bro culture. But you know, Hassan was a choice. You could almost understand why you might think Hassan would be a good choice, right? He's like the best you can do for a left-wing bro. But Destiny's kind of gay, like literally practiced homosexuality, and he's a cuck. And I think his girl left him just recently, like he got cucked hard recently. Got cucked on live TV, on a live stream rather. And then we're going to get to his kid in a minute. He's got an interesting kid.
Democrats have anything like this?
Nothing. And I will say, like, Charlie Kirk is honestly one of the best organizers of our generation. And I think that, you know, as much as I disagree with Charlie Kirk, I believe that what he's doing has worked. And that's why I'm here to replicate what he's doing. I'm not here to, you know, disrupt Charlie Kirk's events. I'm here to say that there are alternative ideas and that we need to build the same thing that he has, because he is good at it.
Z. Cohen Sanchez has worked more than a decade on Democratic campaigns.
There's no reason why we can't do this. This is not very expensive to do. We have so many PACs on the Democratic side raising millions of dollars, right? We are not a big PAC. We haven't even raised $1 million yet. And we're able to get all of these creators essentially anywhere that Charlie is.
It's not a money problem. It really isn't. I want you to notice something, right? These two people are standing in public, most likely standing on like a short staircase, like 3 or 4 steps, right? She's on ground level and he's standing at like the 2nd or 3rd step, because this guy is a munchkin. And all the money in the world won't convince men to be munchkins. So the Democrat, like, you can look right here and tell she is taller than him, and he has to stand on top of at least 3 steps to meet her eye to eye. And so it's very clever camera positioning, but you're not going to fool me. And this kind of encapsulates the Democrats' problem, where the women are like larger than life and the men are teeny tiny asexual munchkins. And no amount of money is going to convince enough men to be itty bitty, teeny weeny, shrivel little munchkin men.
Raised $1 million yet. And we're able to get all of these creators essentially anywhere that Charlie is. And so that's what we really want the Democratic Party to do, is we want to have them to start investing in these movements.
Is the DNC supporting this?
No, not currently.
Why not?
If Ken Martin's watching this, text me back. But really, I mean, I think it's disappointing that we haven't been able to see the DNC really get off the ground since the election, because I think a lot of things have happened internally that have been distractions to the actual ground game that we need right now.
No, our motto is, when they go low, we go high.
For Destiny,
yeah, your party, almost every hero in your party is a woman. And then you brought Destiny to fix that problem. Like, Jesus Christ, you guys can't stop winning.
it's a ground game that must reflect the online culture he and millions of young Americans are part of, one that is often characterized by un-PC language, insults, and crude humor, like this tweet Destiny sent, poking conservatives by saying the kids who died in the Texas floods were proof that God doesn't exist.
The tweets you sent about the kids in Texas would probably disqualify you, or would probably have somebody in the upper levels of the Democratic Party say, okay, we'll never work with this guy again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the left wing, they really do have a problem with this new culture that's kind of exerting itself. And when they try to match the culture, it always comes off cringe and weird. Like the other day, we were reviewing some content, and this dude, 10th Man, he literally said he was worried about Trump throwing him in a fire pit because he's a gay man. And so now I took that concept and I said, no, not a fire pit. We're going to build a volcano, right? Now we're building on one. He set himself up for that because he went to the comedic extreme already. And then I capitalized on his comedic extreme by one-upping his fire pit with a volcano, right? This is proper joke construction. Joking about children who actually died in an actual natural disaster, that is not what's being done here. You guys just seem to never, ever understand the mood of the moment. Constantly off balance here, constantly on left foot.
Do you regret sending those tweets?
I think they have to get over it. I don't regret them. I love poking the bear on the right. I feel like Republicans are so good at owning the space. Republicans do this thing where they say, you know, comedy's legal again and we can joke about anything. But when they say anything, they really just mean like immigrants and black people, right? Because if you make fun of anything on their side, they lose their minds.
I guess is your point that
No, you guys just don't know how to properly make fun of white people. Like the Munchkin Man. You guys constantly on CNN, you present the Munchkin Man as your answer to white male journalism. And then you don't understand why people would make fun of him. Like, that's the white guy you could totally make fun of. You guys just don't want to understand the jokes.
Always trying to take the high ground is clearly not working for Democrats.
One of the things that conservatives stumbled into accidentally, because I think Donald Trump's an idiot, even politically, but they stumbled into this thing where people started to get confused because of what the right and left looked like. And I think they think that you need an extremist platform in order to win elections. But what you really need, I think, is just extremist messaging. I think that's what you need.
Back inside, the packed event giving the Un-F America organizers hope there will be appetite for similar debates on college campuses this fall.
I do 100 hours of this a semester. 100 hours. In addition to 2 hours of podcasting radio. I mean, the physical crowds are now 4,000 people almost every.
See, there is a huge right-wing wave that is just slowly cresting and building to a giant crescendo. And as I've been kind of tracking white culture in general for the last couple of years, it does feel like a moment of acceleration is upon us, right? Things are happening faster than they've ever happened before. So Destiny has a child. He's a 14-year-old white male who watched his father practice and express cuckoldry, both politically and socially, in his personal life. He watched his father likely debase himself in all kind of degenerate, ungodly manners. And growing up and seeing that, he decided, I'm going to be a hardcore racist, fascist, white Christian nationalist. Because fuck my dad, he's gay.
You are more conservative. I see you like Nick Fuentes a lot. So are you a big Nick Fuentes fan?
It's complicated. I don't agree with him on everything like other groupers do, but
Other groypers, are you insinuating that you're... So you're a groyper, is that what you're saying?
I could be considered one.
Wow, this is big news. This is, I mean, good for the groyper movement. They caught a big fish.
How is Destiny gonna convince right-wing young men to return to the left when you can't even raise a left-wing boy yourself? How is Destiny gonna convince young men to join the left wing when Destiny himself has produced young Hitler?
Destiny Bonnell. I mean, dude, you're like number 2 in charge to Nick right now. I mean that.
Nick is the best.
Nick's number 2. Destiny is how did you skeet out Nick's number 2? That sounds crazy in all kinds of ways. Let me correct my phrasing. I have to stop and readjust my phrasing structure. But how could Destiny sire Nick's right-hand man? Like, how can Destiny, of all people, produce a young man whose right-wing fascism is second only to Nick Fuentes himself?
Broadcaster in the game. No one is as good as him. No one can do a better 3-hour rant.
I'm telling you, the guy's a good communicator, and I understand why the young people like him. And I go to college campuses, a lot of people, young and old, like Nick, so I can understand. But the fact that you're a groyper is very interesting because your dad and Nick were actually pretty good friends. I don't know how they are now, but they were actually very friendly for a long time. So I don't think
that is like the craziest story arc line. Ladies, no pearl clutching. We have just gotten into the show. There will be a time for pearl clutching. It's not now. Hold on. It's coming.
I think he would be that mad that you're a groyper. Is he mad that you're a groyper? Does he know that you're a groyper?
Kinda. He thinks I'm being really edgy, but he thinks it's just a phase. He's not like mad at me for it. He thinks I'm probably gonna grow out of it someday. Maybe I will, maybe I won't.
Yeah, yes, bro. This is like a DC Universe storyline. Destiny gave birth to his own arch nemesis, right? This is like some WoW went back in time and created my own enemy type of shit. Like Destiny gave birth to his own evil arch nemesis right here. Like this is his doppelganger evil arch nemesis. Like, how can you predict this type of storyline, bro? This is amazing work. Like, I pray my son doesn't become a raving communist who hates life and men and masculinity. This is why I'm doing my best to raise my boy right. You know, I'm going to raise him to bully. I'm going to raise him to think girls are a little bit off. I'm going to raise him to love America. I'm going to slowly convince him to follow the morals of Christian principles. You know, I'm going to raise a proper right-wing fascist boy. So he never rebels against me like Destiny does. We have to have a loving bond in right-wing fascism because Destiny went somewhere off the rails. I don't know how Destiny raised the most racist white kid I've ever seen in my life. Out of 14-year-old, this nigga is at like level 9,000.
I want to know this, right? You said that it's justifiable to genocide people to form an ethno state.
Okay, now, okay. What?
Would it be justifiable to do that in America today to form an ethno state?
Yeah.
So you think it's justifiable for America to kill non-whites to form an ethno state?
As long as they give them ways to leave and then they start forcing them out after a few years, then yeah.
So mass kill.
Destiny Jr. openly supports ethno-genocide for the glory of the white national state. Destiny Jr. may in fact be Bane.
Take control. Take control of your city.
It's crazy because this is how Bane sounds without the mask.
I want to know this, right? You said that it's justifiable to genocide people to form an ethno state.
Okay, now, okay. What?
You hear Bane without the mask?
Would it be justifiable to do that in America today to form an ethno state?
Yeah.
So you think it's justifiable for America to kill non-whites to form an ethno state?
As long as they give them ways to leave and then they start forcing them out after.
See, that's why Bane wears the mask. His voice is kind of, it's a little bit off, but when he puts the mask on, it's, you will have a white national ethno state. Like when he wears the mask, it's believable. I'm telling you, Bane, Destiny's child is Bane. You don't even know what you just did, Destiny. You cursed us all, you son of a bitch. You twink son of a bitch. You cursed us all. Batman, Gotham will fall because of Destiny.
A few years, then yeah.
So mass killings, like actually mass killings, give people a time to leave, and then all non-whites should be exterminated.
Yep.
Seriously, you believe in the extermination of non-whites in America?
Yep.
Not a single non-white?
Mm-hmm.
What about you? You're a quarter Cuban.
I'm more European.
So what happens to your grandmother who's Cuban?
I mean, why are you bringing family into this? This isn't.
Well, you're the one, dude. You're the one who's saying that non-white should be exterminated.
No, okay, so
now he's really testing him. Are you based enough to actually include your grandmother, to exclude your Cuban grandmother from your white national utopia? How based are you? Chocolate Bunny, listen, Chocolate. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I love me abuela, but business is business, eh?
I mean, well, how do you think I'm gonna answer this? Genuinely, you know, you just want me to. You know how I'm gonna answer this.
Well, of course you're not going to want your grandmother to be killed. So isn't that telling you that this is a psycho argument, that this is a terrible thing to do to people if it would hurt people like you, people you love like your grandmother?
She'd probably leave. She would. She is a smart lady, so she'd be packing up and leaving.
Yeah, I didn't think it's. How could Destiny produce something so red based, bro? This is the reddest pill, most based white boy you will ever come across in life. I am almost just short of afraid of this teenager. God damn. This is the most based red pill kid I have ever encountered in all of my internet travels. Grandma gotta go. He said, Grandma know what good for. Grandma knows what's good for. I will visit you in Santo Domenico.
So you think your grandmother should be deported?
You know exactly what I'm gonna say. You're just trying to get me to say it myself.
But it's psycho, dude. How can you not see that this is crazy?
Okay.
People you love. Why would you do this to people that you love? It doesn't make sense, dude.
The people that I love, I want them to have a permanent home. The people that I love, I don't want them to constantly be attacked like they are right now. The people that I love, my race, my ethnicity that I'm proud of being, I'm like.
So you literally want to deport your abuela?
I'm telling you, Destiny gave birth to Bane. My grandmother will go into the camps. Like, this is Bane, bro. Once he puts on the mask, it's over. It's over. Once the mask comes on, I hope you have a plan.
That's crazy, dude. This is crazy. Can't you see that this is a stupid argument?
It's not a stupid argument. If you,
of course it is, dude.
If you were touched by Jewish,
dude, it's crazy.
Then you would understand this.
If you were what? Sorry.
If you were in like Israel tucked, you'd understand my argument completely.
I don't get it. What do you mean, dude? Nobody would deport their own grandmother. You're fucking crazy.
Okay. I love my grandma. It's not a personal thing.
I love my grandma. It's not personal. Oh God. Oh God, you don't know what you guys have created. Oh my God, all of your uncontrolled BIPOC, minority, LGBT liberalism.
That's all I am. I'm just a tree. And you know what I like about being a tree? I'm glad God has chosen to use this tree.
Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. How much more can I take? Give a nigga a break.
You have no idea what's coming. Oh my God. Grandma's gone, bro. I will visit you, abuela.
It's just about it's about the ethno state.
But why can't you just see though? Why can't you just see that it's a bad standard if it would lead to deporting your own grandmother?
Hold on, this is why people like you cannot make it in seriously in any sort of politics, because.
Dude, you're the one arguing to debate your own grandmother, and I'm the crazy one.
You're thinking about
I'm the crazy one.
You're thinking about how you will personally be affected. I'm not going to be personally affected by this. People in my personal life, they will be affected, but I personally will not be affected negatively by this. And
you wouldn't be negatively personally affected if your grandmother was deported.
I would still talk to her. I would still visit her.
This is crazy, dude. This is fucking crazy.
Okay.
Dude, you don't even have to argue this. There are people in the chat literally saying, no, his grandmother gets to have honorary Aryan status because, so like, dude, like, why don't you just say like, no, she can stay?
Damn. He gonna make his grandmother an honorary Cuban Aryan. A Cuban Aryan? Is that what Nick Fuentes is? Is he like Cuban Aryan? Is he Cubano Ariano? Is that how that works? Is that a new thing? Are we gonna make it a thing?
I don't even understand. It's crazy.
Because that's not how politics works. You don't just get to pick and choose who lives and dies when it comes to an ethno state. You pick your people over everyone else. Your people first, your nation first. That's like that.
Isn't your grandmother part of your people? Isn't your grandmother part of your people?
I'm talking about race right now, okay?
But why would you divide?
See, I'm talking about gang right now. You talking about some other liberal shit. I'm talking about gang right now. And you're a liberal, so you wouldn't understand this gang shit I'm trying to talk to you. Bro, Destiny has given birth to Bane himself. I can't believe it. I can't wait until he's like 30 and he's fully hit his stride.
Take control. Take control of your city.
That
But
also
isn't your grandmother part of your people? Isn't your grandmother part of your people?
I'm talking about race right now, okay?
But why would you divide up your grandmother based on race like that? It's messed up.
Bruh, I had no idea a 14-year-old was that based. What have you done to young white boys? Young white boys were not this angry when I was growing up, all right? I hung out with them. I got into fights with them and all that stuff. Like, they were not like this when I was growing up. You know what young white kids were like when I was growing up? Angry snowman. They were basically like that. Like, imagine angry snowman, 14-year-old, hanging out with a couple of black kids. Like, I was one of the black kids. Like, that's what young white kids were like when I was growing up. Now, I don't know. Young white kids are on some other shit. They want their kingdom back.
Wait, what? Great. Now, what's our motto? We was kings. We was kings.
Let me run through some of these super chats, man. Hit that like button, man. We are not done. We got a lot to talk about. Midwest Request with the $2. Hood's got that fucking motion. Yeah, yes, I do. Yeah, God damn it. Shout out to the motion.
None of these niggas have motion except for me. There has to be one real nigga left in America, in this damn country.
And Midwest Request again. He says, being a hoe is not enough. I'm not even sure what that's in regards to, but you had a bunch of these super chats in here. Let me run through these. Rational Baz with the $2. Everything you ever told me is a lie, Dad. F you. Bro, listen, sometimes the kids just ain't feeling you, man. I don't know where you went wrong, Destiny. Maybe letting your son see you get cucked in real time, it had an effect on him. Like, you were trying to demonstrate to your son all the positive benefits of being in an open relationship, and he was watching his father let his girlfriend or wife go off and bang all the guys and the black guys. Like, as a young white boy, watching your dad get cucked by a black guy.
Nigga, please. Serious.
Yeah, bro. Crazy. The Midwest Request with the $2 super chat. Selling us out is never enough. No, they don't want you to just sell out. They want you to get other people to sell out too. They want the whole race to sell out. That way, you know, what comes next gets to be easier. The Midwest Request again with the $2. Rep the set US. Shout out to the Midwest Request. Thank you so much for that.
I need that money.
Chocolate Bunny, hey baby, how you doing? Gifting memberships out there. Shout out to Chocolate Bunny. Whoever got that membership, come on up. Welcome to the church.
Get it again. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. I come in the name of Jesus. Repeat it after me, bitch. I come in the name of Jesus by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Now, I wanna shift a little bit and start talking about a budding phenomenon in the growing right-wing culture. As the boys go, the girls will follow eventually. There are a lot of young white girls who are embracing not only trad culture, which, you know, I'm very suspicious of the online trad TikTok movement, because it's very, very like display. It's performative, right? It's a very performative movement. And then a setup like this kind of low-key gives a certain amount of wealth, right? Not everybody has a house on a giant hill and they can afford all this extra accoutrement. Like, you didn't just swing that chicken over your head and break his neck. Like, you got a lot of fancy stuff so you don't get blood on your cute dress and all that. That being said, though, once again, as the boys go, the girls will follow. And so I think the idea that we're having this kind of gap in the political outlook for men and women, this is a temporary thing, and it's going to come to a kind of head at a certain point. Like, there may be some kind of thing that pushes women off of the left, but for the moment, women are kind of split, and a lot of men are pulling to the right. And one of the problems about men pulling to the right is that it doesn't leave a lot of men on the left for women to date.
There was a study in the US showing that in 2021, 44% of young women were identified as liberal in America versus 25% of young men. But the decade before, it was 27% of men and 30% of women. So the gap is doubled. I think it's the biggest gap they've seen in like 24 years of polling. Women are shifting far further to the left. We're more likely to support political correctness and restrictions on free speech. And men are moving to the right. And I think the consequence of social media is that men and women are being fed different content all the time. You know, we're being categorized by gender, and it's pulling our worldviews apart. So I think that's a big consequence, is that we're finding it less easy to relate to each other because we're not even inhabiting the same reality. Our values are just completely diverging. There was a study in the US showing that
another problem that's starting to appear for those who care to look at this kind of thing is the general dissatisfaction that a lot of young women feel about the pool of men that they have to choose from. And a lot of these women are on the left in one way or another. And even leftist men just don't satisfy the desires of leftist women.
The most toxic feminine energy. That's so crazy. The way you speak.
It's because I'm smart. It's because I have logic.
No.
which
First
are
of all,
all
here,
things.
let me.
Women have a higher IQ on average than men, so it makes sense. Women get better.
I actually have
Women get better grades in school than men, so it makes sense.
Why does he give you the feminine energy?
Yes, it's very simple. I speak to people I disagree with all the time. I work with them. It's fine, especially when they're men, especially men in my own industry. I've never had any of them, no matter how hard we disagree, ever speak like this. It's because you're young, you're clearly very emotional, but it comes from a place of very feminine energy that's very weak.
Okay, I have a question.
And by the way, your energy is exactly why Trump won. The fact that you sit here and tell me over and over and over how dumb I am, how stupid I am. I didn't go to college because I couldn't afford it, which is actually such a ironic.
She raises a pretty good point.
No, absolutely.
But the way you speak to me as a woman, take all politics aside, is such a feminine, weak, disgusting thing. You should be ashamed, and if you have a father, he should be ashamed of who he raised.
More and more Gen Z women are trying to date millennial men because they missed the red pill manosphere stuff. So millennial men are like more normal than Gen Z men.
No way.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, if you do polling, generally speaking, young men are as conservative as about 70-year-old men.
Really?
And as a young woman, you might not even be, leftist or an anti-capitalist. You might just believe that you should have the right to vote. It's really difficult for those women to date. Like, luckily, I'm in a very happy relationship, but I feel like it's like the last helicopter out of Nam. Like,
Right,
that's
right.
what it feels like.
You got outside.
Yes. More Gen Z women.
Running out of men to date is such a woman problem. The thing is, though, women will, they'll work it out, because, women are very chameleon-like in that way. And so what's starting to happen to a lot of women is a sort of awakening that's pushing them to the right, which is also ironically pushing them to where the men are.
If you would have asked me like 9 months ago if I would ever be making pro-white content, I would have looked at you like you were insane. Like, the idea of a white person being proud to be white is so foreign to most of us. And it's really only been conflated with evil and hate and maliciousness. And it's like, you stop and you think about that. Like, white people are really the only ones that are taught to hate ourselves. We're the only ones that are blamed for every and all atrocities across the planet over all of time. We are the only ones that are taught to be colorblind. We're the only ones that are constantly having diversity shoved down our throats. Like, we are a global minority being replaced in our own countries, and I've had enough. If you would have asked me like 9 months ago,
She's clearly joining the rightward shift, and she's not alone.
It was women that got Trump elected. And I guess to be really edgy, it was also women that got Hitler elected.
You might think of the so-called alt-right as a roiling mass of angry white men. But some of the movement's biggest stars are actually women. Women with old-fashioned ideas about women's empowerment.
The ideal alt-right woman takes care of her man.
Once I realized that I needed to be the submissive one, it was largely a relief.
But in an ironic twist, many of them are now fighting back against the white nationalist men who would rather they stop leading and start having babies.
I'm not going to get married at 22 years old just so that I won't be called a degenerate on the internet.
That is Lauren.
Now, this is what the right wing has discovered recently. There are conservative feminists within the ranks of the right wing women. And this has now created a war in and of itself. So now the right wing movement is trying to low-key weed out the conservative feminists and the ethos and all that.
Southern, one of the far right's most popular YouTube stars. She's one of several women on the right who are speaking out against harassment in the movement. Harassment like,
they're less ambitious, and I think this is sort of God's way, this is nature's way of saying women should be at home with the kids. They're happier there.
So why is all of this conflict happening now? Well, when the alt-right first coalesced around the 2016 election season, neo-Nazis found new allies among the virulent men's rights movement from sites like 4chan and Reddit. Then that group of hardcore misogynists started turning on women in the movement, all at a time when women everywhere are speaking out about harassment in media and politics. That men's rights crowd could drive women away from white nationalism entirely, and white supremacists have always needed women as allies. In the 1920s, they were among the KKK's most effective propagandists, promising the equality of women. We spoke with historian Linda Gordon, who estimates that at its height, the women's KKK had 1.5 million members.
The women did a tremendous amount of the Klan labor. You know, every time they put on a big pageant or a big lecture, you can be sure that it was women who were doing the publicity, who were collecting the food. The women were really almost in charge of the clan groups for the young. There was also a great deal of teaching of an ideology to these young people.
But that still begs the question of why these women were drawn to an organization that has such regressive views about women. For that, we turn to Shannon Martinez, a former white power skinhead.
Since I felt so disempowered in my own life and in my own personhood, I really was drawn to the machismo, the sort of like toxic masculinity of the culture, because it was.
She was drawn to the toxic masculinity of the culture. That is so very interesting. Midwest request with the $5 super chat. So let me get this straight. Global Homo doesn't produce husbands and boyfriends. LMAO, your move, Western woman. Hey, Western women, you're gonna have to work that out, man. I don't know what to do about the lack of male attention problem. Sucks to be you, I know.
I hit a woman for the first time in my life, and I'm having fun.
So important to me to belong that I was just kind of like, okay, this is just kind of what it is.
The women of the far right are attracted to the movement because it offers them a community. These are people who are obsessed with the collapse of family, society, and morality.
We're living in a very different age right now, and a lot of us who are on the more conservative end of things are we're longing for an age we've never lived in.
As the divide grows between the women of the far right and the men who deride them, white nationalists will be forced to pick a side. The kind of decision that can make or break the future of a movement.
Unironically, they need to find a man. I feel like to young women, unironically, they need to find a man that's very misogynistic. If you at all want to have a guy.
Yes. We're teaching the young girls to lean into the misogyny. His misogyny is evidence of his love for you.
That's going to like make you follow his frame, and you need to find a strong Christian man that's going to put you in your place, or else you're going to dominate the relationship. And when a woman dominates the relationship, it's destined for failure, because I see even how I was different. Like in my previous relationship, I was dominating, and I was such a.
We have to teach women to not be afraid of misogyny. We have to explain the protective coding that misogyny grants you as a woman. It really is like a protective coating. Like, think of it as sunblock. All of those pesky world rays, all of the responsibility rays, because I'm a misogynist, I actually block those rays from hitting your delicate feminine skin. Misogyny is a protective coating.
Bitch, like such a Jezebel. And you know, I wasn't always like a good wife or like this great or even Christian. I used to be atheist, but he has completely transformed who I am and how I act, because he's such a strong Christian man, and he doesn't let me get by on things. He always will nitpick everything, because he's literally training me how to be a good Christian wife. You need to be trained. Women are bitches, and they need to be trained. So that's my advice. Find a man that will train you.
Find a man that will train you. Young ladies, that is the new wave, right? This is the level we on. We on a new level. Find a man that will train you. You require training.
Was conveyed that I wouldn't have let you walk out until my point was conveyed that you do what you're supposed to do, whatever I tell you to do, because that's your job, is to submit, do it with a smile on your face. I don't care. I wouldn't have let you leave. I would have, you would have had to eat whatever mean things I would have said, and then the job would have got done. And then afterwards, after the cooling down process, I would have, repented to God and smooth things over with you.
Lord, forgive me for what I had to say to this bitch. Listen, in a healthy relationship, I don't apologize to you. I apologize to God. All right. That's how we roll. I will never apologize to you. I will apologize to God for letting him down. Lord, forgive me. I had to curse this bitch out. She was really tripping, though. You should have seen, I know you've seen her tripping. That's how it goes. I don't apologize to you. I apologize to God.
And then the job would have got done. And then afterwards, after the cooling down process, I would have, repented to God and smoothed things over with you for the sinful behavior. That's how things would have went down. I wouldn't have let you walk out until my point was conveyed.
But yeah, this is a young couple on the right wing broadcasting the new traditional style of relationship. And I've noticed, Just Pearly Things years ago kind of caught my eye as the new wave of white female red pill content creator, because she's by no means the first, right? There have been greats, heavyweights that were here before her, like the Karen Strawn, Girl Writes What. Like I've listened to some really, really great red pill content from the female perspective years before Pearl came along. But one of the things that I liked about Just Pearly Things recently is as she got a little bit more politically aware and then more socially experienced with just, women, she says flat out, women shouldn't vote. And so that kind of makes her unique in the world of like female content creators. Very few popular mainstream female content creators will just say flat out, the 19th Amendment was a mistake. We should undo it right now. They're killing civilization. And so I always kind of liked her for that. At that same time, though, as she was sort of out there pushing that Overton window, a lot more white women started to step into that new space that was being opened up.
I'm sure all of you guys know about feminism, about how women were brought into the workforce, and this was supposed to be seen as very liberating. This is a great thing. This means, women are free from the shackles of men and the patriarchy, and they can be just like men. They can work just like men. Well, the funny thing is that the majority of jobs that women do now are all things that basically they would normally do inside their own home, but now they're outsourcing their femininity on a global scale, or at least on a much larger scale than they would be in their own home.
So now we have young white women who are much like men in the right wing, explaining how the modern workplace for women is like 80% adult daycare. And then you have, outside of that, you have basically women doing domestic work outside of their own homes.
Let's look at the most common jobs for women today are care workers and home carers, sales and retail assistants, nurses, cleaners and domestics, and secretaries. So in the past, also adding on to that is a lot of childcare and early childhood education, or just education in general. So in the past, women were in their houses, cleaning their own house. They were taking care of their own children. They were sewing their own clothes. They were their own home secretary. They were taking care of the home economy, helping organize things, organize the finances and everything. They were baking for their own family.
What she's saying is that women generally were almost like naturally secretarial, like whatever ancillary functions that were required for whatever group she was a part of, women have always been filling those roles. And so when it comes to like the corporate office, a lot of those kind of important but not intellectually critical type of jobs, like the filing, the phone calls, that kind of thing, women were always great for that sort of role. But now you're doing it for somebody instead of your family and husband, which makes you kind of bad.
when it comes to home care work and registered nurses. In the past, women did that. It was just for their own family members instead of for strangers. So what we've done with feminism is we've basically taken all of these jobs that women are naturally drawn to because they use our natural gifts. We're very nurturing, or detail-oriented, and we like working with people, and especially working and caring for children and the elderly and the vulnerable. And they've basically taken these natural gifts that women have and outsourced them. So now we're stripped from our own families, and we're just doing the same work for absolute strangers all day long.
Doing work that should be done for your family for absolute strangers is modern woman. Shout out to the Midwest Request with the $2. God will wipe them tears away. Listen, man, it's either the government or Jesus, and you know, hoes don't go to church no more, so it is what it is.
Good women are dead. Evil bitches, rise up!
And if you think about it, how crazy is that there are women who probably have kids in daycare who work as daycare workers? Just think about that for 1 second. Like, what is the purpose of that? And it's just very sad because you can just tell that women have been totally stripped of their purpose in this way. Women are very depressed. So many women, so 1 in 4 women are on psychiatric medication now. Women just in general are not doing okay. Somehow we got every right and freedom in the book. We can do everything that men do, and somehow we're still naturally inclined to do these jobs that use our natural talents, and we've just been totally stripped of purpose, because how could it possibly be more fulfilling to care for 10 crazy kids at the same time in a daycare center or preschool than caring for your own kids and teaching them yourself?
Not only that, and this is where the birth rate issue comes into play, the time that you spend learning how to be of service to everybody but your husband and family is time that you will not spend having a husband and family. And so that is the #1 reason for the massive birth rate decline across the Western world. See, we used to send men into the school and the workforce and expect them to find a woman so they can marry, have children, rinse, wash, repeat, right? What wound up happening is that we've actually bent all of our energies toward putting women into the workforce, which takes away their most fertile, family valuable years, right? That whole concept of sexual marketplace value. Sexual value is actually a loose translation for reproductive value, because sex, even though, you know, pleasure and all that, it's great, or orgasms, yay, the very point of it all is to reproduce. And so the heart of sexual attraction is reproduction. And now you're spending your most sexually attractive years likely having sex without the goal of reproduction. And so body counts are up. The actual population numbers are down, and families aren't happening.
One of them is clearly so much more fulfilling than the other. And yet, we were psyoped into this because it benefits corporations and it benefits the GDP, and women basically naturally accept less pay than men for a lot of jobs because we're less likely to ask for promotions and everything. And so basically by doubling the workforce, you know, we've benefited corporations, but we haven't actually benefited ourselves or our own families.
And
in that way, it has totally stripped women specifically of our purpose.
And here's the catch. Here's the kicker. I'm making a prediction. Much like young, white, disaffected men, as young women, young white women start to question their burden, their role, as more and more young white women start to make those in my car testimonial videos about not having their life together, not having a boyfriend, not having a family, never having done anything worth doing. No matter how many jobs I get, I can't make it. I went to school and I can't make it. I got all these degrees and I can't make it. As more and more young white women start to question their place in the world, they're going to have bitterness and resentment. And that bitterness and resentment will drive them toward the right wing, much like the young men. And we're already starting to see cracks of that show up online. Little examples of that are already starting to pop up.
I'm sorry, why the fuck am I seeing so many white women on Twitter posting photos of themselves doing the Nazi salute? What the fuck is that? What the fuck are you doing? As a white woman, I think it is our responsibility to say that you look fucking terrible with these like quirky captions. Like, I don't even really know what I'm doing.
Young white women giving Adolf salutes on the Twitter.
I'm sorry, why the fuck am I seeing so many white women on Twitter posting photos of themselves doing the Nazi salute? What the fuck is that? What the fuck are you doing? As a white woman, I think it is our responsibility to say that you look fucking terrible with these like quirky captions. Like, I don't even really know what I'm doing with my arm. Who do you think you're fooling? What right-wing incel man are you trying to impress? That man does not care if you live or die. And yet what? You're going to post something that makes you look edgy and different when actuality it's deeply evil to its core and morally bankrupt. And I think you know that. You just don't care.
Oh, GM in the chat says, how about China developing that robot artificial womb? The feminists are losing their shit. I haven't really looked much into it yet. I keep seeing that headline pop up. But that was always the next prediction. I mean, we've technically done like cloning and the baby in the bag. Like we've grown a lab cloned right in a bag. And so once you can do that in the bag, it's only a matter of engineering to put it into a robotic, Tesla bot type of format. And yeah, the hoes mad. Definitely hoes mad.
And not only is that something that only a terrible person would do, it's also fucking embarrassing. You look embarrassing. Fix whatever it is you need to fix about yourself and stay off of Twitter.
The media is out in full force, fear-mongering about young women getting sent down alt-right pipelines that include beef tallow moisturizer, the Kardashians, the entire concept of clean eating and clean skincare, the worship of thinness, and more.
Yes.
In fact, I took notice of this last.
Yes, being thin is right wing. That's why so many of the black women who vote Democrat are BBWs, because being thin is low-key racism.
Week, I believe, when MSNBC published an op-ed about Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle campaign. Later in the article, they say it isn't just that far-right ideology is proliferating on the fringe. Our entire cultural ethos has moved further right, allowing for this sort of content. Young women are being radicalized through so-called clean skincare and healthy eating. Internet slang once used exclusively by women-hating incels is mainstream, and people are unabashedly self-identifying as fascists on public.
Health, beauty, and general cleanliness, all right-wing racist ideas, okay? Health, beauty, cleanliness are racist white people ideas. If you're healthy, if you're beautiful, if you're clean, it's because you're doing
This
something
makes
right.
Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle.
Platforms. So that first part about young women being radicalized through clean skincare and healthy eating stood out to me.
Can I actually just pitch something right now? It wouldn't
Go
even
ahead.
be on brand for us. But Jessica, perhaps you're in the chat. Can we get a shirt that says beef tallow radicalized me?
I love that.
Radicalized.
That's actually a great idea.
Radicalized by beef tallow.
Get to it before Alex Clark
And
does.
you should say it should say beef tallow, and then radicalized should be like it was from the 1980s, where it says radical.
Yeah.
Like
Well-
like it should be like, you know, pink, hot pink, and like pointy letters and
What
stuff.
do you like? Beef tallow radicalized me or radicalized by beef tallow?
Beef tallow radicalized me. I'm actually surprised that we didn't come up with that slogan before Alex Clark, but she is the figurehead of, or maybe the mouthpiece for Maha to a younger female audience of mostly Christian and conservative women. She hosts Culture Apothecary, which used to be known as Poplitics, but she underwent a rebrand last year prior to the election. And the mainstream media has taken an interest in her and her influence. Vanity Fair back in May published an interview with her saying Turning Point USA's Alex Clark says the GOP wins because women are not attracted to the David Hoggs of the world.
I think that's an obvious truth. Women are not attracted to the David Hoggs of the world. Why would a woman, generally speaking, be attracted to a man who's kind of averse to masculinity? It's like hating all the things that a woman should like about you.
And the host explains why she joined the bandwagon to make America healthy again and why conservative Christians have picked up the health issues that used to belong to the left. And there is this idea that conservative influencers like Alex Clark or in her orbit are employing some kind of mastermind plan to trick everyone into becoming radical far-right extremists with content that's about health and wellness. But she
It's a slippery slope.
She clarified the way that she approaches her content in this interview, saying some episodes lean more political. I've done episodes on abortion, but I tried to keep almost every episode nonpartisan. Mainstream publications tried to say this is my sneaky way of getting women to turn conservative, but there's nothing sneaky about it. Of course,
Here's the thing. Your average mainstream woman will actually have increasing pressures that will, push a more conservative behavior model onto them. So, like, for example, Rational Bass says, nobody really wants artificial babies, but it's a nice tool to humble women a bit after their transhumanism boost with birth control, right? So what's most likely to happen is the first people to have artificial babies will be like, not even artificial, it's just an artificial womb, right? But it's a real genetic sample. And so they'll take an egg and a sperm and induce that conception and then implant it in the artificial womb, which would be like a Tesla bot, right? And you know who's going to have that? Rich people. Rich people are going to be the first customers of the artificial womb Tesla bot. And it's going to create a certain level of pressure where theoretically, as a man, you could work your way up to buying a Tesla bot and securing an egg one way or another and cutting a woman out of the process. But generally speaking, it will change the game.
Want you to become conservative. And yes, I'm going to talk about health and wellness as a way to introduce those ideas, but I'm not using it as a ploy. And I think that women on the left are taking notice of the impact of voices like Alex Clark, and they're doing everything they can to frame this as some kind of top-down mind control campaign that is being weaponized against young women who are unsuspecting of their ways. including this Instagram influencer, Jess Britt. She posted a list of
Freeman's Journal says no hormones from the mother probably messes the baby up. You're probably right, but don't worry, Freeman's Journal. OCP will fix it. They think of everything.
Of all of the ways that young women are getting sent down alt-right pipelines, with
I'm already
the
angry
caption
'cause it's
saying,
a "Get ready with me" video.
hashtag we effing hate Donald Trump. So here is what she said is radicalizing young women today.
We'll lose young women to alt-right indoctrination in the same way we lost young men. We need to be very careful, cognizant, and critical of trends that can lead to the alt-right pipeline. Because while these things aren't inherently conservative, or dare I say even fascist sometimes, they can be the starting point for a very slippery slope. So here are the top alt-right rabbit holes for women that I think we need to be cognizant of and educate
Remember, they're
around.
not
Clean
fascist
beauty
because
and
they're
clean
things that she
eating.
likes.
While opting for more natural ingredients in your skincare and food seems fairly harmless, you can quickly slide down the slope to the alt-right by engaging in content around distrust in regulatory bodies, anti-vax rhetoric.
Imagine that.
conspiracies
Not trusting regulatory bodies.
Is alt-right. There's a 20 there from... It's also funny to...
Well, most institutions at this point are basically held by the left. So not trusting institutions is basically right-wing culture.
talk about how fascism is not trusting authority.
Weary Traveler just said Phil.
Thank you.
Hi.
around big pharma. And next thing you know, you think you're making America healthy again. Trad wife content. While this starts off as romanticizing homemaking, this quickly can slide into a conversation about promoting very rigid gender norms, anti-feminism, and ideologies that contribute to Christian nationalism and white supremacy. Skinny talk and diet culture. While this starts as fitness routines and feeling your best, it's a slippery slope to assigning moral superiority to thinness, which then can slide pretty quickly into eugenics.
There is moral
Homesteading and
superiority to
homeschooling. And listen,
thinness.
I have a carrot tattoo, so well,
Home studying and homeschooling are signs of right-wing culture.
gardening, being closer to our food sources, and taking a hands-on role in your child's education is great. It can quickly lead to mistrust in institutions. Overall,
You shouldn't trust institutions.
It all comes
That's
back
insane.
to not trusting institutions, which is somehow fascism.
Oh my gosh. She does not even hear herself. Okay, I just want to
trust in public schooling. Like public schooling isn't good enough. Just lead to
not.
classism
It's not.
and racism.
And the tests show it. Like test scores are the evidence that public school is not.
Hey, Pastor, you're on the fascist pipeline. And Pastor, I can tell you want to be a fascist, but you got like that black programming in you that's telling you it's wrong. But if it was wrong, why does it feel so right?
Good enough.
Yes, there's nothing more good for this country than standardized tests.
Was there more to this?
I feel this is extra important because of the attacks on the Department of Education right now. This problem is just going to get worse. New age spirituality, tarot, crystals, all that kind of stuff. Make sure the people selling you your crystals aren't.
You know, Red Illusion, that's the next step for me. I haven't introduced my son to Nick Fuentes clips yet, but that's actually the next step. We're going to start doing that. I'm going to start working some Nick Fuentes clips into the father-son moments.
Sure, I'm passionate about this. Make sure the people selling you your crystals aren't QAnon people. Once I spent like $200 in a crystal store, and then I went home and looked.
Why
at the
did you
shop
spend $200 in a crystal store?
Because she's insane.
The name of the business was Trust the Plan.
Yeah. I want to move off of that. There's something else I want to jump to right now. This is Joel Webon. He's kind of big in right-wing Christian nationalism. Women are NPCs and how men can save them. So right away, Joel, he's a Christian guy, so this is kind of on brand for him. But Joe wants to save the girls.
But here's the white pill and encouragement to the men. Women will follow. They will. Right now, they think that, that maybe it's just a fad or this or that. Or they're kind of towing the line with the zeitgeist, right? Women, here's the irony. It's not whether but which. Women will submit to authority. It's not whether they will submit. It's just which authority will they submit to. Well, right now, the zeitgeist, the reigning authority that we've had in our nation has been a wicked authority. It's been a gay affirming authority. So what do you think young women are going to do? oh, I love the gays. I have,
Yes, women will follow authority, and gays have been in charge for a while now. So all the women love the gays. But the gays low-key hate the women. It's really weird. I've been observing that for a while. The gays' aggression against the female spirit has kind of been revealed as of late. Like, that's what all the transgender stuff really is. It's like naked aggression against the female spirit.
Five of my closest friends are gay men. So right now the zeitgeist, the reigning authority. I'm not just talking about our politicians in the state, civil realm, but I'm talking about every movie, every piece of propaganda that comes out of Hollywood, in media, in corporate America, right, in business, in government, at every single level. You have gay affirming, always about the immigrant and the foreigner over the native people. So you have globalism, you have gay race communism. Gay race communism has been the reigning dogma, orthodoxy of these United States, politically, religiously.
Most American Western women are gay race communists by default.
In terms of entertainment and media, corporately, in terms of business, all these things. And so young women are, they're sticking it to the man, right? They're raging against the machine. No, they're doing what young women have always done,
right?
Submitting to authority. And so the men, what do we need to do? We need to win. Seriously, that's it. That's all you have to do. Women, I love women. All right, so I'm not trying to be rude. My wife,
and in a lot of ways, I've kind of thought about this and come to this conclusion myself, and other people have said as much. I think Red typed this in the chat earlier. Modern feminism in general is women shit testing civilization on the whole. So like the very idea of a shit test, where it's like women are constantly testing the borders and boundaries of your masculinity so that she at every moment can be reassured that you are the guy. And with feminism, it's like they're shit testing civilization on the whole, which is, it's a representation of men on the whole, right? Our greatest collective work is the civilization we have produced for the women to live in. And so much like women will constantly shit test the individual man to see if, she can be comfortable with him as her guy, collectively through feminism, women are shit testing Western civilization itself to see if civilization itself is worthy of actually their devotion and protection. And here's the irony of it, right? Let's say like women vote for immigration. They vote for third world immigration, which ironically leads to more extreme, aggressive, patriarchal Islamic immigration from the Arab and African world, right? And so now these aggressive, patriarchal, violently misogynist, foreign brown men come into white Western civilization, and Western feminist women are low-key. This is a very subliminal, subconscious act, but through feminism, through their invite of all of these hostile forces, right? What they are doing is daring young Western white men to override all of their henpecking, their shaming about racism and misogyny. And either you do what it takes to save this thing that you love called civilization, or, well, I guess the savages deserved it more. And that is the cold, hard, biological, evolutionary function of something like feminism. It is the ultimate civilizational shit test. If you aren't willing to be savage enough to defend this thing against the actual savages, then you don't deserve to have it.
Would tell you, but she will never tell you, because I'm not going to let her, because my wife is not going to be a public forward-facing person,
right? And
she doesn't want to be. But if I asked her to, she would submit to my leadership. She would sit in this chair, and I'd be like every other ministry. I'd be replacing a qualified man with a woman. And my wife does happen to be blonde, so it'd be, it'd be right in line with the Gospel Coalition and every other ministry out there. Another man, who had something good to say, some insights, some courage, got replaced by a pastor's wife.
She's the shield for criticism.
Yep.
It's like, put her forward, and she's
That's
going
right.
to take the blows.
Let's get my wife out here to say this hard thing so that I don't have to be no, I'll just be criticized. Millions of people hate me. You think I care?
Thousands of niggas on these other black YouTube channels hate me. You think I care? I'm still gonna go to Izzy house on another show some other time. I'm still gonna go to Nightish's house. I'm still gonna go to Just for Humans. I'm gonna go to everybody's house. You think I care? Do you think I care if the hoes pretend to be mad?
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
You think I'm not aware? Of course. And I know what I could do for better PR. I know how to play the game.
Right.
I won't, because it's a game and it's wicked, and someone has to break out of the matrix and say, no, I'm not going to play by these wicked rules. I'm not going to put my wife out in front of you in order to appear softer. I'm not going to do that. My wife is a mother. She has 5 little children. She's busy at home. It takes all of her time, and she's staying in that role. And I'm not going to have her come out here and hold her up as a shield to protect myself in a self-centered way from my critics. That's wicked, it's cowardly, and God will not bless it. No compromise on biblical patriarchy. Now, that disclaimer out of the way, what I was going to say.
No compromise, no days off. That's what we're doing now.
Is that my wife, if she was here, she would tell you. She'd say, my husband is absolutely right. Women, she would say this, women are NPCs, non-player character. Meaning what? Meaning all the men have to do is win. You beat the zeitgeist, right? You have to beat the final boss, right? The gay race communism final boss. You got to go in there, you got to beat him, and then you replace him as a righteous, God-fearing Christian man. And then you say, these are virtues. And these other things are vices. This is a vice, right? Homosexuality, sodomy is a vice, right? This is a vice. That's a vice. You stop letting Hollywood produce filth. You have standards. You shut down OnlyFans. You stop it, cut it out. You get women out of the military. No. That's a shame for a nation to send its women, to send its daughters. I said, using my wife as a shield for criticism, our nation uses its daughters as a literal shield for bullets. And we think that that's virtuous. Look at how forward-thinking we are. Look at how empowering we are to women. Empowering to women. You're bringing them back in body bags. You're not empowering.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of female war victims. It's crazy to me.
You're wicked. And all it takes, you don't have to, here's the thing, guys get discouraged.
Victim is the wrong word. Female combat casualties, put it that way. That's not a victim. You're a casualty of war, and I don't really need that for America. I don't think America needs that.
This is a white pill. They think I've got to win over this 25-year-old, chick to based politics and conservative, biblical, virtues and this and that. And it's so hard, Yeah, that's because it's the same thing as trying to win over the boomer. You have to remember, when you're arguing with a boomer, you're arguing with Fox News. You're arguing with the television box,
right?
And when you're arguing with a woman, you're arguing with TikTok.
Arguing with TikTok. That's how I felt yesterday, honestly. You are arguing with TikTok. And you know what? Let me take a second here. I got to read off some super chats. But yeah, you are.
None of these niggas have motion except.
Wrong button. You are arguing with the television. Let me read some of these super chats real quick. The Midwest request with the foul ball, we need to have AI to have women perpetually in the green room with no out, just debating color palettes. You know what? I heard somebody came up with this idea, like we need to have a girls' election where women can like have a mock vote and they can debate and argue about all the candidates that they like. And they can, raise money and support and campaign. They can do all that stuff and they can cast a vote, but none of that shit counts. None of it matters, right? We should have a mock girls election. So that way they can get their shit off and, they can like have their ideas out in the world for people to see. But none of it really matters though. We should have a straight up girls election. Because, women, they have political ideas and dreams and shit like that. And we shouldn't stop them from letting their stuff get off. Like, let them get their shit off. Just for funsies. A funsies girl vote. What's so wrong? Like, what's bad about that? That sounds great to me. A funsies girl vote. And then, okay. Midwest request with the $2 super chat. How do you have a movement with no motion? And it's crazy. Speaking of like motion and young right-wing e-girls, apparently young right-wing girls love Nick Fuentes.
None of these niggas have motion except for me. There has to be one real nigga left in America, in this damn country. Who's the CIA cutout? Who's the poser? Who is America? I am America. It is insulting, and it is insulting to everybody's intelligence for Tucker to sit there and say he doesn't know his dad is in the CIA. Who's the CIA cutout? Who's the poser? Who is America? I am America. It is insulting, and it is.
This girl right here just went viral using Nirvana over Nick Fuentes viral clips. Nick's been hot lately. Nick has been going crazy viral with his clips these last couple of weeks. But I want to share something with you guys. Atlas Thugged just dropped a video just today. Women love Nick Fuentes.
Word in the mainstreaming Nick Fuentes, e-girls have begun to join the ranks in their support for his message, with a growing trend developing on TikTok. A quote taken directly from Nick from his opening rant against Tucker Carlson, where he says, "I am America."
Who is America? I am America. Chicago is America. That's an American story.
That is laid over top of Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit. Leading the charge is an e-girl by the name of Ella Maulding, whose affiliation with Nick goes back to 2021 and has been a peripheral supporter of Nick since then, and who recently has been on a tear with videos about tackling degeneracy.
Why are we still treating the issue of pornography as normal and harmless when testimony after testimony it is proven to be a catalyst for the work of violent criminals, sex offenders, and pedophiles?
See, what I'm noticing, what I'm watching happening is the right wing lay out the argumentative structure for what they want to do next, which is start to actually acquire social and political power and then apply that power to goals like banning pornography.
Bundy blamed pornography for the killing of 30 women and girls and said that during his time in prison, every violent criminal he came in contact with was either deeply addicted to or involved in pornography. Porn is one of the many things in our culture that people think doesn't affect them because they don't consume it. I think this is misunderstood by people, but the majority of porn is not merely adults having consensual sex. It's violence, it's force, it's dehumanization, and it portrays women and girls as soulless, choiceless, meaningless objects to be used solely for domination and pleasure.
Her voice is just one of many, with Frederick Zoller pointing out how much the tone has changed from Nick's notorious "Your Body, My Choice" tweet to today, where girls are flexing that they listen to Nick over NPR and the Call Her Daddy podcast.
Now, think about how short of a time span that was, right? Trump won the presidency in what, January? No. It was November. It was November he won the presidency. And so that is what, 12, not even 12 months. We're almost 12 months. It's like 10 months away. But in a matter of months, it went from I hate him. You know, Nick Fuentes was going, my body, your choice. No, your body, my choice, right? Right after the election, that's what he said. Your body, my choice. And all the people hated him. And now, not even a year later, just months later, they over that shit. They're good now. They're like, yeah, you can have my body and make your choice. It's okay, Nick Daddy. They're totally fine with that shit now.
Voice is just one of many, with Frederick Zoller pointing out how much the tone has changed from Nick's notorious "Your Body, My Choice" tweet to today, where girls are flexing that they listen to Nick over NPR and the Call Her Daddy podcast. One of the pro-Nick e-girl accounts has been posting things such as the Sydney Sweeney ad and being proud of being white, anti-feminist content, vocal opposition to sexual degeneracy, and pro-Christian content. Now, don't get me twisted, it is still never e-girls, but this rapidly changing political and social landscape is becoming too obvious to not notice. Now, for the first girl that can be seen in the compilation, she even has other posts that speak to the Streisand effect on Nick, and that the Great Awakening is getting much closer. But she had a follow-up post highlighting that her account has since received a ban warning for simply making a pro-Nick video. And she is absolutely correct about us living in the United States of Israel. And they just keep coming with...
Think about what that means. The TikTok bosses won't let white girls like Nick Fuentes. You're not, as a white girl, you're not allowed to like Nick Fuentes. It's literally against the rules for a young white girl to like Nick.
Red X.
So you know what young white girls are going to start doing, right? You know what happens when you tell young white girls you're not allowed to like a guy?
Make it stop. Make the hurt stop, please. Like,
larger account on TikTok who not only is pro-Nick, but also posts truth bombs about things such as the Great Replacement. But even more impressive, drops a strong dialogue on America being a Christian nation.
So wild how anytime it's somebody talking about preserving America, there's always somebody like, we're a nation of immigrants. And we weren't founded on immigrants. We were found on settlers. Immigrants come to a land that's already established. Then they go ahead and pull the whole, Europeans stole land from the natives. Newsflash, every country's history was built on conquered land. Borders have changed for thousands of years. This, whether you like it or not, is a Christian country. The laws, the moral framework, and the culture. And here's the irony. They scream about dismantling colonialism while living off of every single benefit that it created. Your phone, your electricity, your modern medicine, all came from the same Western Christian civilization that you pretend to hate. You don't have to be Christian to live here. But if you want America to stay America, you can't rip the values that it was based on. And let me make this very clear. Immigration itself isn't the problem. America has always had it. The difference is now people are not assimilating. Before they learned English, they adapted to the culture.
She reminds me of Homelander's girlfriend. What was her name? Stormfront? She reminds me of Homelander's base Nazi girlfriend. I love that for Homelander. I really wish they would have kept that storyline alive a little bit longer. Homelander and Stormfront were an impossible team. Like nothing can stop us now. Imagine the baby they could have made. Oh man.
Adopted values, and now we are told that America should change for them.
Oh, and shout out to JH Marvelous with the 199 super chat. The Hood Conservative is the real ninja gulag gang. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Hit that like button for me, guys. Drop $1 in that hat.
Give me the money. Give me the money for I was you. Give me the money.
Bottom line, if you hate the values that this country was based on, why are you even here? Either you're for America, staying America, or you're part of the reason it won't.
The reality is I could just keep going and pulling up e-girl after e-girl on both TikTok and X, but the point to be made is that this is another anecdotal metric that parallels with Nick's recent meteoric rise, and is another step in the direction of Nick going full mainstream. Someone who picked up on this happening early, Kyle Kolinsky, shares his thoughts.
Is this just the effect, the Nick Fuentes effect, where like Nick Fuentes, very like openly Nazi
commentator.
Nick Fuentes is turning the girls fascist. Because they already don't really like the energy they get from most left-wing liberal men. And they like the fact that Nick actually says the N-word and then people think it's funny. When Nick Fuentes says the N-word, girls like that shit.
Girls are here to be sexy for me. Throw it back on a nigga. And that's why you're gonna drop that ass for a nigga, because you were put here to drop that ass for a nigga.
Left-wing e-boys don't have aura. The left-wing e-boys, they don't give off that vibe.
As his followers, the Groypers or whatever. And there's a decent number of them. And they're all super active, just waiting for somebody to say something negative about their emperor, overlord, god king, Hitler. And like they go in. Or is it just like he's cultivated an audience, built him up, and now they're just attacking because they see him saying something bad about Hitler? I don't know. But either way.
You guys remember when Nick Fuentes was on Fresh and Fit with a bunch of black girls and they all made him say the N-word? And he said it and they all got wet.
Man, this is not something you would ever imagine, even like 10 years ago, would ever be a thing. Like anybody openly defending Hitler online, other than in the deepest, darkest corners of the internet. Right? On one of like the white supremacist websites, which everybody knew to fucking stay away from. Where you got psychos and killers and all sorts of weirdos on.
Kyle Kalinske is frosty tip hose mad.
Now it's everywhere. Now you see that like this is mainstream shit on Twitter. What are we doing here? So very, very disturbing.
But a video about Nick Fuentes and e-girls would be entirely unfit if I didn't at least leave you with Nick's take on them.
And then shout out to Nick for keeping it all the way 1,000 wow on e-girls. No matter what, never e-girls. Shout out to my man L5 with the $5 cash app. But Nick is a Mexican. He is. Wouldn't that make him an immigrant? Not technically. He's more white than Mexican. So he's like of Mexican descent. But you know, his real thing is like a white Catholic nation, a white majority nation. So he's not on some strictly, like he's not like Destiny's Kid, right? Destiny's Kid wants to go full Bane and have an ethnic genocide for America, right? Nick Fuentes isn't Destiny's Kid. And so there's maybe because, well, they're both kind of technically half Latino, but he's not as based as Destiny's Kid. It's crazy how Destiny made a kid more based than Nick Fuentes, man. But shout out to L with the $5 super chat, y'all. Hit that like button for me. Thank y'all so much for pulling up tonight. We are just getting into the Nick Fuentes part of the show.
Come on, share your dollar. Give me your dollar. Share your dollar with me. Come on.
18. I was saying no e-girls in like 2018, 7 years ago. Bro was 11. Bro was 11 when I was saying, you know the rules, Brittany Venti, no e. So she don't even know. Yeah. So look, it's nothing personal. She seems great, but no e-girls, not even once. No exceptions. Who's got the clip? E-girls are not allowed. If you have an e-girl girlfriend, don't bring her. Because it's always I feel like I need to say this again. No e-girls. It has not changed. I know I have like a new audience now.
And that's kind of why that pastor, Joel Webber, on a few clips back, he was saying that, like, I'm not going to put my wife out there so she can deliver the message and say all the things that people hate me for. Because then he would turn his wife into an e-girl. And he likes his wife as a wife. Wives are good. E-girls are bad.
A lot of new audience members to watch the show because they found out I was the only guy telling the truth about Israel. Okay. No e-girls. Stop dating e-girls. Stop bringing them around. I've had enough.
And these e-girls better get the fuck away, because the next thing that's going to happen is I'm going to declare another fatwa against them, and it's not going to be pretty. It is not going to be fun for them. I'm going to pick them out. I'm going to pick a few of them at random, and I am going to go to holy war against them. So stay the fuck away.
Yeah, the Tom Selleck Hawaii PI, the Magnum PI mustache phase for Nick Fuentes, it was a moment. It was a special moment. I don't know what made him go with the Magnum PI mustache, but you know, he's a young kid. Everybody goes through their phases in life. You know, at one point in time, I had all kind of braids and, you know, long hair and stuff. Had to get my hair braided. I had dreadlocks at one point in time. We all go through phases in life.
No e-girls. We don't want them. Now, if you have a regular girl, you can bring her. If you have a regular girlfriend, she's not a slut, she's not a groupie for politics, you can bring her. Your wife, some normal girl that you met under normal circumstances, that's fine. It's these e-girls. I mean, they might as well just be feds, Jews. It's all the same category.
Don't trust e-girls.
It's these e-girls. I mean, they might as well just be feds, Jews. It's all the same category. Don't bring them. Don't date them. Don't talk to them. No e-girls. I've heard about a lot of problems with e-girls over the years. And so I just want to I feel like they've been creeping back in. They've been creeping back in when I stopped being vigilant. I've been at war with Israel for the past couple of years specifically. I've been on this campaign over the past couple of years in particular, really focusing in, honing in on them, that now the e-girls have kind of crept in a little bit.
I am curious on your guys' thoughts for this.
The e-girls are going to come in just like the tech girls. 5'5" with a Bible and an attitude. I'm telling you, that's exactly how the e-girls are going to come in and hit you. You got to be more careful. Next thing you know, they're going to be making right-wing Christian e-girl TikToks. 5'5" with a Bible and a bob. Nah, I'm good.
The reality of Nick Fuentes, I don't want to pretend, oh no, they're totally irrelevant, you know, we shouldn't be worried about them. That's not true at all. They're getting much stronger.
This young dude is a force to be reckoned with.
Fuentes wrote on social media, quote, "So now Trump is claiming the Epstein files are a Democrat hoax? LOL.
And
He's
got a lot of
Holocaust
pushback.
denier?
Nick Fuentes?
He's a denier,
Yes.
or does he debate the numbers?"
Oh, yeah. All right, we got to get Nick Fuentes. Yeah, we get Nick Fuentes at our firm.
Got one friend in Chicago, and I'm worried about him. I'm worried about our mate Nick.
He's a savant. He is. He has been one of the loudest and earliest voices in our generation. Yes, there was Pat Buchanan. God bless Pat Buchanan. You know, Henry Ford, for goodness sake. You know,
Yeah. That's being a real nigga. Like, you real. That's being real.
Don't care.
I would say Nick might got the biggest real nigga call. I got to be real.
He's the most bold.
There's going to be this is a huge problem already on the right-wing side.
The arc of history might be long, but it bends towards an absolute Groyper victory yet again. So
for some reason, and it's hard to properly understand why, unless you're really deep into like right-wing culture and big conservative ink and all the background machinations and the secret conspiratorial theories about why things are happening. But at this moment in time, it's pretty safe to say that everybody hates Nick.
I swear Nick Fuentes want to be Charlie, but he can't get his stuff together. He don't want to do right, I don't think. He has these crazy radical claims. He is racist. He may not want to say he is, but he's racist. the things that you're saying is actually racist. You can't couple it by saying black people do this. I'm afraid of black. When I see a black person, but then what about the black people you see that don't have saggy pants? Do you still believe that about them? He go on to talk about
I don't believe that Nick Fuentes is a racist in the classic definition of the term. Like, he's a racist with the, you know, by the gay Marxist definition of the term. You know, gay communists will call him a racist, definitely. But I don't believe he's a racist. I think he's too honest for modern polite society. And the problem is that the honesty makes people uncomfortable because we're not used to this level of honesty.
And I said it from the start. This is advanced darkness. This is heart of darkness. This is the jungle drum. This is the fertility goddess of chaos. They're literally going to eat your balls. They're going to cut your fucking nuts off and eat them.
Whoa, what? They're gonna what?
how he want to marry somebody that look like him. That like he could see a black woman and like her, but he can't be with her because she's not white. That's racist. Now, you can do it. You live in America. You do what you want to do.
I think the idea of being upset with a person because they want to reproduce their particular ethnicity is a low blow. I refuse to equate racism with the idea that you as a white person want to reproduce more white people. You as a Latino, like you as a Mexican, it makes perfect sense that you as a Mexican want to produce more Mexicans, right? If you're a Cuban and you want to make more Cubans, that makes perfect sense to me. If you're a South African and you want to make another South African, I understand why. If you're a German and you want to make more Germans, I get you. But the idea that I should call it racist, I'm just not willing to play that game.
But he said it out of his own mouth, and he said stuff over the years. I don't care that Nick Fuentes is racist. I don't care that Nick Fuentes wants to only marry white people because he wants his kids to look like him. I don't care. He's entitled to his own opinion. But I don't want him walking around and saying he's not a racist. No, you racist, but it's okay for you to be racist. But just say if I said I don't want to marry, I'll never marry a white woman. Why would I marry a white woman? I want my kids to look like me. Are you saying because she's white, these are the things that come along with her? This is who she is because she's white? Why do you want your kids to look like you? To me, it's superfluous. My kids are mixed.
I want my kids to look like me because I love me and I love them. Why is that a crazy concept? Why you want your kids to look like you? This is like some weird black male cuck example I haven't come across yet.
Come along with her? This is who she is because she's white? Why do you want your kids to look like you? To me, it's superfluous. My kids are mixed. They don't have to look like me. Their DNA is not somehow destroyed because their mama is white and I'm black. And then we not even talk about the Jew hate stuff that he be saying, denying the Holocaust or having an extreme view on the Holocaust. It's crazy to me.
Now, I'm not gonna personally share any views on the big HC. You know, I'm not gonna go there. But apparently you're not allowed to break ranks on that. And Brandon Tatum, lucky we got this. He went on a long 16-minute rant on Instagram because apparently Nick Fuentes really bothers this nigga. And I don't know why.
Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. How much more can I take? Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. How much more can I take? Give a nigga a break.
somebody say debate Nick Fuentes. What am I debating with Nick Fuentes? For him to talk about the Frankists and how the Jews are, it's to me, we ain't gonna agree on it. We're not gonna have a real debate, because if you're telling me that the Jews, I don't know if he's ever been to Israel. If you're telling me that the Jews run America, we can't. What are we talking about? We can't. That's like saying, let's do math, and 2 + 2 is 4, and you say 2 + 2 is 5. How are we gonna do math if the foundation of what you're saying ain't even nowhere near the foundation of what I'm saying?
See, Brandon Tatum just can't understand where Nick is coming from.
How do it equivalate?
We're not going to get anywhere. Jews do not run America. Jews did 9/11. Jews did 9/11. What else are Jews responsible for? Some dummy got online and said Jews responsible for World War I. I mean, this is how people go off the wagon, man.
Yeah, listen, man. I know that stuff is crazy talk. I don't know why people talk crazy like that. Stop with the crazy talk.
Jews did 9/11 because a couple of Jews were cheering. Allegedly, they were cheering. The dancing Israelis were cheering during 9/11. That means Jews did 9/11. I mean, I think America had a lot to do with 9/11, but the Jews did it. You know, like, what else do people blame the Jews for? If you ever went to Israel, you'll say, well, that's interesting. How do the Jews run America, but they don't really run Israel? The Jews are not in full control of Israel. I mean, they're not. It's not what people think it is. And people want me to debate Nick Fuentes. It's not going to, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. What is he going to say to me? The Jews run everything. The Jews, the Holocaust, it wasn't really 6 million people. I don't know if he believed that it was anybody, but it wasn't 6 million people. It was 3. 3 million people is still a lot of people. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 million. That's still a ton of people. They got killed. I mean, I saw the videos of what the concentration camp looked like. I mean, that's, if it wasn't 6, it was 5. I've heard people clearly articulate that it was 6, and they showed exactly how it was 6 million people.
Hey, if it wasn't 6, it was 5. If it wasn't 5, it was 4. Well, if it wasn't 4, it was 3. If it wasn't 3, it was 2. It was 2. God damn it! If it wasn't 2, it was 1.
If it was 5 million, if it was 4 million, that's still insane. It still was a genocide. And Nick, this is another part that bothers me about Nick Fuentes, is that white man good. White people ain't all good either. We literally had good white people fighting against some not so good white people in the Civil War. That's the blood of slavery on their hands. There's white people today.
Brandon Tatum thinks he's on the right wing, and he thinks white people have the blood of slavery on their hands. I don't know if you need to be over here, bro. That sounds like some conscious conservative bullshit. You need to be over there with them niggas.
The worst people outside of violence in the world are white liberals. They are the absolute worst. I say leftists because they are the absolute worst people. The most corrupt people in the world are American politicians. Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden are the most corrupt people in the entire world, I think. We have the most corrupt people. We have the most pop. We got 30 some trillion dollars in debt. We are the most corrupt out of anybody. And if somebody were to venture in to say that Israel runs America, that makes America even more corrupt. We talk about the deep state in America and act like Israel is more corrupt than we are. Like, what are we saying, bruh? Is Hillary Clinton not the one of the most corrupt people in the world? Are we not funding every war, overthrowing every government that there is? And people love to say, Israel talked us into it. I like when people talk noise because it really don't bother me, man. I like it. Look at my lifestyle. Look at the impact I'm able to make.
Look at all the nice things I have since I became friends with this nigga named Ishmael. He went over to visit Ishmael. They was at Ishmael house chilling together, hanging out in front of the wall and shit. And now, you know, look at all the nice things I have because, you know, I'm friends with this nigga Ishmael. Shout out to my nigga Ishmael. Ishmael got me eating good.
We just hit almost 2 billion views on YouTube. We average over 120 million views a month on Instagram. You know, what are we even saying? It's not. I just think the young people are foolish. You know, I wish, and I'll end it with this. I'll end my statement with this. I wish that Nick Fuentes would get saved and be mentored by Charlie Kirk. But the jealousy.
That's like saying you want Nick Fuentes to go through the Joker 2 experience, right? Like in Joker 1, people weren't supposed to identify with Joker. You weren't supposed to see the broken, victimized humanity in Joker. And so people said in Joker 2, we're just going to have him be a victim. We're just going to victimize him, right? We're going to brutally victimize Joker. And that's what you want for Nick Fuentes. You're like, no, people like Nick too much. They like him the wrong way. And so we want Nick Fuentes to get Jokerized. It's wicked, bro.
And hatred that Nick has for Charlie Kirk is why he can't never get to his full potential. He'd rather hate Charlie Kirk than to take something from Charlie Kirk's book and begin to establish something that's sustainable. These little gropers are going around, they racist. They call my wife, and I'm not saying all of them, but the ones who got on my wife, they call her a coal burner because she's a traitor to a race. You know how stupid you got to be?
Oh, they attacked his white woman. God damn it. Leave his white woman alone.
When I die, I'ma go to Snow Bunny Heaven. Snow Bunny Heaven.
To be like, white people can't marry black people. Somebody said, isn't it wild that 185 people watching you? I don't care, man. I get 100 million views a month on Instagram. Because a few people watching a live, I don't care. We get 40 million views on YouTube. I do this for fun. I don't get paid on no live streams. I do this for fun. So if somebody think I care, not really. It's not. It don't really make a difference. I just think unless I bring people on, it's gonna be low like this. If I bring on some other people, then I think people it'll start piping up. But man, I don't care, man. Another thing is I think people should understand that the internet is the internet and real life is real life. You know, this internet stuff is cool. I enjoy it. I make a living off of it. I influence the world by it. But I don't let this stuff bother me that people disagree with me. I don't care. You disagree. It's okay to disagree. I disagree with you too. And that's what makes America great. You disagree with each other. You know.
I feel like he having a moment where like half of his audience is kind of low key trying to. He's at war with half of his audience because Nick Fuentes. Nick is gang, bro. You don't understand, bro. Nick is gang. There's a new gang out there, and you never know who might be in your chat that's part of the gang.
The comment section don't really matter that much to me because I don't do this for comment section. I just do it because this is what I feel. And they say Nick speak the truth. Yeah. Hitler spoke the truth too. That don't make that his overall work was good. You know, and I think that's the same thing with Nick. He's more damaging than he is good to me. Debate Nick Fuentes about what? He's not going to change your mind, and he ain't going to change my mind, and he's not going to change the mind of the people that agree with me. You know what I'm saying? He ain't going to change nobody's mind. People that like Nick Fuentes is going to believe he's right no matter what he say. They're going to believe he's right. I just listen to common sense. When you say I want my kids to look like me. To me, that's silly. I want my kids to look like me race-wise? Oh, okay. So if you were in love with a woman who happened to not be white, you can't be with her because she's not the same color as you.
Love requires discipline, bro. What is love without discipline? You're just gonna be falling in love all over the place with anything? You just got willy-nilly love? You just love everything? No. There's a discipline to love. And if your discipline means I gotta stay with my people, it is what it is. Not everybody's gonna have a hard line like that, but stop being a little bitch about it.
You can't tell me that person is wise. You can't tell me that person is an intelligent individual. I want to maintain my race. What race? White people are not all the same. Some white people are Irish. Some white people are, they come from different places. Italians and Jews and what are we talking about, bro? If you so shallow and silly that I want to maintain
I swear to God, I feel like that's Ishmael talking. I know this is Brandon Tatum on the screen, but you tell me, maybe I'm tripping. Put a 1 in the chat if it sounds like that's Ishmael talking through Brandon. Ishmael is talking through Brandon. Like there is a giant hand up this nigga ass, and he's now a puppet. And he's like a giant black flesh puppet. And Ishmael is saying words through this nigga flesh puppet mouth.
You a Christian, bro. What are you talking about? You a Christian. Your earthly experience is of nothing. Your legacy is not the color of your skin. It's spiritual. There's no male or female in here. There's no Greek like that. Like God ain't looking at you being like, good job. You kept your race going. You made sure that you were just white. Your kids look like you. You're white. You're blessed. Bro, God ain't worried about.
Now imagine him telling me, good job. You made sure your kids were black. You kept your black race going. Yeah, nigga. Yes, my kids are black. Yes. Does it make me bad if I kind of had the dream that I wanted to make black kids that look like my black ass? Am I a bad guy for that? Nigga, people are so weird, bro. Stop, man. You got Ishmael all on your breath, nigga. Get away from me. Your breath stink.
What your color, your kids? You worry about you taking care of your kids. I want to preserve white people. No, I want to preserve the right mindset. Because to be honest, the same white folks that believe in white purity are the same silly white people, and black people too, that believe that like Christians are different because they're different colors. If you somehow think naturally, earthly, that white is right and you want to keep it pure, what about black people to you? What do black people mean to you if that's how you feel? I don't care nothing about being black, bro. I got white people in my gene. Like, there's nobody pure at this point. Ain't no pure blood, nothing at this point for the most part. There's some people.
Bastards say what?
At this point. I got white people in my gene. Like, there's nobody pure.
There's nobody pure? You're a communist. You don't believe that there are any pure people? Like you don't even believe in the idea of purity at all? This is a really weird position to take, bro. I don't even know that you want to go down this line. Like, ain't nobody pure. Bruh, stop. No. Hey, listen, shout out to Max, bro. Ain't no whites in my family. I hear you. Listen, not everybody can say that, because I know my grandmama is uncharacteristically light-skinned, and it is what it is. I don't know where them genes come from, but we got them. I got an auntie who's she's a black woman with red hair and freckles. So I get you, right? But not everybody can say that. Some black folk can say with 1,000% chest out certainty, ain't no white people in my family. And it is what it is. That's how it is, bro. Why you tripping on some shit like that? Why are you tripping? Let pure white be pure white. Let pure black be pure black. Let the pure browns be pure brown. Let the pure yellows be pure yellow. Why you hate colors, bro? God gave us colors. God made us good like this, bro. We all good the way we are.
At this point. Ain't no pure blood, nothing at this point for the most part. There's some people that live in Africa. Some people.
Yeah, I swear to God, I promise you. Black, there's a teeny tiny percentage of black people that have natural born red hair. I've seen like one or two other examples in my life. Like, oh damn, there was this one girl when I was in like 9th grade. She had red hair and freckles too. But it's a thing. It's a thing. Obviously, it's a mixture thing. You know, it's probably some Irish blood in there somewhere, some Shylock shit going on in there.
People that live in parts of Israel. Some people living in Arab nations are probably pure. But bro, when you start going outside of the Arab nations and stuff, ain't nobody bloodline. Man, I got blood from Nigeria. Just imagine if I was a dumb Negro and I'm like, I want my kids to be black. Black from where?
Yeah, no, Red Illusion. Those Irish genes be subduing the Negro genes, bro. That shit crazy. There's something about the Irish gene. That shit genetically subdues a good chunk of the Negro gene. It really does. That is my only explanation for the black people with red hair and freckles thing. Like Red Fox is another one. He probably has had some Irish in him. Like that nigga Red from the 5 Heartbeats, he probably had some Irish in him.
Africa, from the Caribbeans. To be honest, Indians and black people are the same color. Many of them. Arabs from Egypt and North Africa are very similar color as African Americans. So I'll be with an Arab that's similar color as me. And my kids will come out to be the same, even though our race is different. What are we even saying, bro? People are so, that's why, how do you listen to a person like that? Oh, I just want my kids to look like me. Bro, where are you living? You live in America. What does America first mean? America first is America values. White people don't exclusively own America. What are we even saying?
What if they really, really want to, and they'll do whatever it takes to make it that way? Then what? I mean, because, all right, it's really weird to say white people don't exclusively own America. when America was 90% white up until like 1970. It's a really weird proposition. And listen, I've already walked through the whole reasoning thing. I'm not saying there were no other people here, you know, but this is a very, very white place to be up until recently. Literally within my lifetime, America has dropped in percentage. Within my life, the change has been visibly noticeable. So like if you would have gone from 1940, let's say the end of World War II, like 1944 to 1965, you would not have noticed a heavy demographic shift taking place in America, right? Now, within the span of my life from 1981 up until now, 2025, I have been living and witnessing in real time the visible demographic shift within this country. And it's not just Mexicans, it's not just Africans, it's not just Indians, it's all of them niggas.
White people built America by importing slaves, in part. Native Americans had a lot to do with America as well.
Look. Acadia says, growing up, I never heard a lick of Spanish. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Growing up, the only Spanish I ever encountered were New York City Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. Up until my adult life, until like the last 15 years in my life, I would not encounter Hispanic culture unless it was New York City, Dominicans, and Puerto Ricans. Look, I remember when Press 2 started. Press 2, fuck Press 2. I don't want to press shit. I want to pick up this phone with the assumption that a natural native-born English speaker will respond to me. I don't want to have to press 2 for a goddamn thing. Press 2 started within my lifetime. That is what they have taken from us. Once upon a time in America, if you picked up the phone and called somebody because you needed something went wrong with something, you needed help with something that you bought from a company, you would talk to an English speaker. Now you have to press 2 for English. That's what they took from us.
The culture, the history, migrants who came over here from Italy, France. I mean, people who migrated in America built America to where it's at. That assimilated.
Yeah, you press 2 for English and you get a guy named, hello, my name is Adam. How can I help you? I'm so sorry, sir. What seems to be the problem? Press 2 for English. Fuck you for English.
Somebody said call him out to his face. Are you saying call him out to his face like I'm scared to talk to him? Like I'm intimidated by him? Don't be foolish. You know, America is great because of our diversity. Plurals unum.
This nigga is a gay liberal, bro. And you know what? I'd never, up until now, like everybody talk about Tatum, you know, he a coon, he a black conservative, this, that, and the third. And so on those grounds, I never really bothered with with Brandon Tatum, right? I never did a lot of content. I don't think I've ever done content even featuring Brandon Tatum like that. I don't really talk about Tatum. He's never been interesting enough for me to personally want to include him in anything I do over here. But I have been kind of unwilling to join on the Brandon Tatum is a coon type of thing. Because, you know, why would I join in the coon bullshit, right? But now that I'm listening to him and he's on some America is great because of diversity bullshit.
Foolish. You know, America is great because of our diversity. Plurals unum.
America is great because of our diversity. The fuck out of here, bro.
That nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay.
Now let's jump to my boy Jason Whitlock. Jason Whitlock has some beef with Nick Fuentes actually a while ago. Jason Whitlock, he said some unkind words about Nick. And you know what? Let me start out with Nick Fuentes' clapback on Jason Whitlock months and months ago before we get to the more current thing.
And by the way, you are a token. Hey, Jason, you're a token. You are in conservative media as a black guy that can confer upon white people the dignity of not being called a racist for having their views.
Almost every black guy, you know, present company not included, you guys are all basically Democrats trying hard not to look like the rest of these niggas.
That's why you get paid. And that's why I don't, because I didn't have the privilege of being born black. I was born white. So there's a limit on what I can say. There's a limit on what I can say without being penalized in the so-called free marketplace of ideas. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows. And everybody's sick of it, especially in the conservative space, that blacks have had it easy. It is, and I don't doubt that he's a sincere person. I'm sure he's a sincere person. I'm sure he's genuine. But you are playing by a different set of rules, pal. You have training wheels on. You think you've earned it? Everything you have. Take a look around at your studio, your contract, your employees. If you said the stuff that you said as a white person, your ass would be fucking gone. And everybody knows that. You're on Blaze hosting E. Michael Jones talking about the Jews. It's a good fucking thing you're black, because if you weren't, you would have been fired like Elijah Schaffer. You would have been fired like every other white person. Everybody knows that. Take a good look at everything around you, because you did not compete to get that. You got it because people feel sorry. People don't want to be called racist. They feel sorry. They need a black person to give them credibility. And if you can't see that, then you're just as ignorant as BLM. If you can't see that, if you can't be honest with yourself about that, you're just as ignorant as the marchers. As a matter of fact, you are as ignorant as the marchers.
Most of these niggas ain't really, they're not really ready for what it takes, bro. And I'm saying this because, like, being an adult black male, considering from a nationalistic perspective, all the things that I accept, all the positions that I take, it is not because I care for blackness in some abstract way. I am a nationalist. I happen to be a black man, for whatever that means or whatever that's worth. But ultimately, in my heart of hearts, I want the nation to live and to be great. I want all of the world to be great, but I think you need America to be great for the world to be great. You know, all that other shit comes first. I mean, comes later. All that other shit comes later. America first, right? We make America great. The rest of the world can be great because we're great. And that's not a black position. And I think for a lot of people, a lot of black people that find themselves on the right-leaning conservative side of the argument, it's hard to make a clean, ideological, purely rational, objective break from being black. It's difficult.
Just another ignorant crybaby. And you know what? I have no hatred. I really don't. I'm a little bit frustrated with the fact that people are going to challenge my credibility based on what I say, knowing what I've sacrificed, what has happened to me, what has happened to my family. And I'm not trying to play the world's smallest violin.
You know what's so funny, El Cid? And I appreciate the attempt at the compliment, but and we joke about this all the time. You know, I got the white card and the white pass and all that shit. Like I embrace the element of what you're trying to speak to here. But you say a hood is black, but it's culturally white, and I suppose that may be true to a degree. But like, I think I'm objectively pro-civilization. And if civilization codes as white, then so be it. But I am a product of Western civilization. I too am Western man.
But my sacrifice has been considerable. I have had a considerably more difficult go than almost anybody because I was willing to tell the truth before it's fashionable about Israel, about race, about globalization, about a wide variety of subjects. Ever since I was 18 years old, I have been censored. I have been financially blacklisted, had to endure financial hardship. I've been targeted. My family's been targeted. So for somebody to come and challenge my credibility or whether I'm being honest, it's totally outrageous. I have no hatred in my heart for people. I have no hatred in my heart for anybody, for that matter, and not for a group based on their race. And I have friends from all different races. It's not hatred. You know, we can't play that card all the time and bitch about racism every single time. With that being said, and it's important to clarify that because you don't want to be typecast as the angry white man that's trying to gin up. I'm not trying to gin up racial resentment. I'm really not. I'm trying to tell you how white people feel. And I'm trying to tell you the truth. And here's the truth of the matter. White people are just fucking done. We're done with the excuses. We're done with the white guilt. We are done with crybaby, ethnic narcissist black people that cannot handle an adult conversation about race. We're done. We pay up the ass in property taxes not to live near these people. We work hard. We pay our taxes. We go to work. We work our fingers to the bone to create a good quality of life for ourselves and for our families. And it has been ceaselessly sabotaged for decades by these fucking animals. And by that, I don't mean every black person. I mean these predators. I mean these opportunists. I mean these adolescents. Where are the parents? Where's the community now?
And you know, it's ironic. Nick Fuentes, this is him months ago, saying it's not all black people. It's these predators. It's these opportunists. It's these really young people. Where are the parents? And only just now, I don't think anybody else has talked about this yet, but you heard me talk about this. Georgia is starting to bring parents into the legal ramifications of what their children do. New Jersey wants to attach parents to the legal ramifications of what their children do. Maryland wants to hold parents responsible legally for what their children do. Nick Fuentes was actually warning of this months ago.
Ow, where are they? I'm talking about these young adolescent men, black men, that film themselves running over a physics professor on his bike in New Mexico, laughing and kill him. I'm talking about the young black men that break into 20 businesses in Downers Grove overnight and loot the cash registers. I'm talking about the teen takeovers.
Nobody on the right wing, outside of, present company included, because, nobody knows my name yet, but nobody on the right wing wants to say flat out, unequivocally, the majority of the problem that you're dealing with is young black kids, young black men, young black boys. That's who's the face of your problem. And as a country, it terrifies us to deal with it and say the devil's name out loud in public. It's like niggas have become the Voldemort of black American politics. I don't want to say his name.
Kill him. I'm talking about the young black men that break into 20 businesses in Downers Grove overnight and loot the cash registers. I'm talking about the teen takeovers, the gangbangers. We don't want to live near this stuff anymore. And we all know what's going on. We all know who's doing it. We all know what it is. And we're sick and tired of black people not being able to be honest about it, not being able to take any responsibility.
And then came President
Somebody
Trump.
had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
Take control. Take control of your city.
It's always someone else's fault. It's always some white person's fault. It's racism. It's poverty. It's the culture. It's the New Deal, the Great Society. It's Lyndon Johnson. It's the Democrat.
And shout out to the Midwest Request. Nick is strong because they are so fucking weak. And that is why Trump is being praised right now. You notice something weird? The protests against Trump are mostly white, but you got a lot of black people making videos saying, you know what, it's all right. I actually need this to happen because people like strength. No matter what you think, no matter what your teachers told you, strength is actually attractive. Strength is sexy. Strength is seductive. Bitches love power.
None of these niggas have motion except for me. There has to be one real nigga left in America, in this damn country. You know what? No, I think it's you. I think it's just you.
Now, this was just a couple of days ago where Jason Whitlock, after starting some shit with Nick Fuentes weeks ago, and then Nick did that video we just played where he kind of filleted the nigga on air. Now, Jason Whitlock has come to the reluctant conclusion that he is a force to reckon with. You must contend with Nick Fuentes. Extreme Graper victory. You got Grapers in the chat. Do we have Grapers here? Stand up, Grapers. Throw one in the chat if you be graping.
My overall point as it relates to Nick Fuentes, he's winning. It's undeniable. He's winning. And he just last week before, he went after Tucker Carlson, who anybody that knows me knows I really like Tucker Carlson. And Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens had a conversation about Nick Fuentes, and he responded in a pretty clever way. And none of this changes my affinity for Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens. But this young dude is a force to be reckoned with. And he's a force because we don't want to talk about the things that may cost us money. That's the reality. Because there is a price, a financial price to be paid when they label you an anti-Semite. And so we go out of our way to avoid paying that price. And then we run around, oh Jason, you like Candace Owens, or you won't disavow Candace Owens. And oh, you need to disavow Tucker Carlson. Not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. The tribalism that Nick Fuentes promotes, and someone I think it was Tucker made the point, like, hey man, he's criticizing a group of people and then mimicking their tribalistic behavior. So what he's saying is Nick Fuentes criticizes Black people for their tribalism, criticizes Jewish people for their tribalism, and then he promotes tribalism. Black pride is terrible, but we should have white pride. That's my criticism of Nick Fuentes.
If Black pride was constructive to the American dream, there would be way less to criticize. I think I don't necessarily have an issue with the objective concept of Black pride. However, if Black Pride is like twerking in public, if Black Pride is baby mama culture, then I don't know if I'm gonna get on my Black Pride shit. You know what I mean?
Nick Fuentes, there, I'm telling you, Nick Fuentes, impressive during this interview with Alex Jones. And Alex Jones helped him be impressive. This kid is a talent. He's, you know, there's this thing that we say about Martin Luther King or Barack Obama, these talented orators. And I thought Martin Luther King was a super talented orator. I think Barack Obama was okay and overhyped. I think Nick Fuentes is a far better orator than Barack Obama. And he does this stuff off the top of his head. It's like if Donald Trump were a talented orator. Donald Trump is an authentic orator, and that makes him a successful orator. But he can't string together thoughts and sentences and for hours like Nick Fuentes can. You know, I've watched some of his longer videos.
Shout out to Jason Whitlock finally bending the knee.
None of these niggas have motion except for me.
This is an amazing orator. And that's why this guy is formidable, dangerous. This guy, his influence is going to continue to rise because people love a talented orator. And he seems to have an answer for everything. Seems to. And he's getting placed in interviews where, you know, he's complained about his interview with Candace Owens.
You know, having an answer for everything requires one to have thought about almost everything beforehand. And what you're revealing is that despite all the criticism of somebody like Nick Fuentes, despite all the shock value of his positions, you can't really logically argue that he hasn't thought out these positions. That's why he's lasted the test of time. That's why he's been proven right so many times. Even now, as he has abandoned his pro-Trump position, and I followed him in that over time. Like, I used to have MAGA in my Twitter profile and all that, and I quietly dropped MAGA. I just have Black Fascist in my Twitter profile right now. That's my identification. That's my political identity. Black fascism, whatever that might mean. No more MAGA. We're beyond that. And so being right in that way, it kind of means something. And it's hard. It's been difficult for a lot of people to accept that he has been right. And here's the other side of it. It's difficult to be right when everybody else is wrong. One of the hardest things to do as an individual in a society is to be right when everybody else is wrong. Where do you stand in a room where you're the only person who actually understands what's happening? There's no room for you. There's no place to stand in that room. But Nick kept standing, and that's kind of the magic of Nick Fuentes, and that's what's making the new right wing powerful and attractive and magnetic. Men who are standing when there is no place to actually stand.
It was harmless. His interview and conversation with Candace Owens was harmless. He looked composed and good and articulate. She looked like someone that was doing a adversarial interview to make sure that she had some protection and distance from Nick Fuentes. But she did no harm to Nick Fuentes. She actually elevated him, and I don't think that was her intention, but she did.
And then I think he was kind of low key talking about Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. So Candace had a recent interview. I haven't really watched all that much of it, but Candace and Nick sat down for a friendly chit chat. And then as soon as that was over, Candace immediately started talking crazy shit about Nick, and it was wild. And then Tucker Carlson, she did it on Tucker's show, which dragged Tucker into it. And so it was this whole thing.
That's obvious to me. I've been around a long time. I know it when I see it.
Yeah, and I will say I don't understand it. We were very kind to him. Like I truly, like we almost said, like we felt maybe he was a bit lonely. We should invite him back for dinner. I mean, that's how good of an experience I had. And
yeah, clearly.
And then it was a 180. So it's either A, it's being driven from like a little boy insecurity, and he just was so worried that he like just went on the attack because he doesn't know how to have normal relations after being banned everywhere.
Well, I think there's that could
be one element.
The angry gay kid thing going on.
Yeah. Or it's what you're saying, where he does this, he's lying to everybody and pretending that things are one way when it's not. I can say
why is he attacking Joe Kent, who, I mean, Joe Kent worked as a CIA contractor, paramilitary contractor. He was in the U.S. military for years fighting our neocon wars. And his wife was killed in Syria in one of those wars. Joe Kent is this.
Working for the CIA doesn't give you right-wing street cred like you want it to, Tucker. And I know that sucks for you because you kind of are like genetically CIA, like you got CIA in your blood. But, that's just kind of where it is right now. Being CIA just makes you
single most sincere critic, and I would say the one with the most credibility in the United States to say this foreign policy is bad. It killed my wife. I was a part of it. Joe Kent is actually someone the CIA doesn't like at all because he understands how it operates. And for Nick Fuentes, who's like some child from Chicago, to go after him specifically, one congressional seat in Washington State.
That is random.
It's not random, though. It's the opposite of random. Joe Kent was number one on the list of people they wanted to knock off, people who believe in our neocon foreign policy. They wanted Joe Kent out because he could stand up and say, I actually know. I've got the receipts. My wife was killed in Syria. You had to take that guy out. And Nick Fuentes, this child, this weird little gay kid in his basement in Chicago, is participating in a super PAC to bump off Joe Kent. Like, I've been around this my whole life. I know what that is. It's just an organized effort.
Yeah.
And he also did the thing that David Duke.
Now, mind you, that is twice now in the same 3-minute clip that Tucker has called him a weird little gay kid in Chicago. Why all the hate, bro?
Always did. Including to me, which is being like, oh, yeah, it's my friend. And everyone's like, oh, Tucker Carlson's been endorsed by David Duke. I've been making like the anti-racist argument my whole life.
Right.
Like, I'm not for David Duke. Do I think David Duke is right when he's against affirmative action? You bet I do. But I'm not for David Duke. But David Duke would try to discredit people by hugging them. And that's exactly what Fuentes did. He goes out there, meet all these people, show up, hi, I'm Nick Fuentes. Can I get my picture with you? That's a campaign to destroy credible voices on the right. And Fuentes is part of it. And I know I'm inviting endless trouble by saying this because, this is a kid with a lot of spare time, but it's just a fact. And I've seen it a lot.
Yeah.
And I, you can believe me or not, but I know what I'm talking about.
I can confirm he's dishonest. I mean, so it's like you use that as your, like, I could not determine what his motives were. And I said, you know what? I don't have time for this. I gave you a fair chance, gave you a fair shake, and you are a fundamentally dishonest human being. There was no reason to do it. If he had not done that show and screamed and yelled, his followers would have been like, oh, that was an interesting conversation between two people who agreed some, disagreed some, and like that was it. It was interesting that he got there. He doesn't want to be, and I can tell you that he doesn't want to be anywhere but where he is. He doesn't want to have normal relations. And it did sort of feel, and I said that to him, that he's like responding to orders somewhere, because why are you attacking me?
Well,
Why are you attacking Dave Smith? What is the issue with Dave Smith? And he couldn't answer the question.
Exactly.
He couldn't answer the question. He was just like, well,
the fakest thing I've ever seen.
And I'm like,
now, both Candace and Tucker Carlson, who have shady, questionable backgrounds of their own, are now accusing Nick Fuentes of being some type of shady, alleged, possible plant. We don't know where this kid comes from. And so let's get to the clapback. And this is kind of the clapback of all clapbacks. This is the most epic right-wing clapback we've ever seen. And this is why Nick has all the motion.
How do we steer the population back into a new Cold War? How do we steer the population into supporting Israel in a way, in a world where they're rapidly losing credibility? Get a guy like Vance. Get a guy like Vance to imitate and echo back to you, to project back to you the grievances of the white working class while steering you into the agenda of the CIA and the DOD and Israel, which is a distinction without a difference. Do you get it now? And that's who's doing it. I'm being accused of being the CIA by Peter Thiel's best boys, by Tucker Carlson with his daddy. Tucker Carlson's, and you know what? Here's the other thing. Tucker Carlson said I'm a weird gay kid in the basement. Yeah, and I'm from Chicago. You're right. Well, okay, you're not right about all of that. But I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Tucker Carlson says, I have so many trust funds, I never have to work. Tucker went to a $45,000 per year private high school, then a $45,000 per year.
$45,000 a year for high school? That's the level of elite that the average American will never encounter without permission.
Selective Ivy League school in New England. Tucker Carlson's daddy was a Reagan appointee. And then after years of bragging about being an elite, bragging about being so out of touch and so rich, now he's going to be the spokesperson for all the white people. Now he's going to roll up his sleeves. I just like to hunt and fish in my log cabin. I care about Klarna and credit card debt.
What was that? Ari Pages asked, are blacks now pro Nick Fuentes? No, blacks are not pro Nick Fuentes. Real right-wing niggas are pro Nick Fuentes.
None of these niggas have motion except for me. There has to be one real nigga left in America, in this damn country.
Put a 1 in the chat. Will the real right-wing niggas please stand up?
But then when it comes to me, I'm one of the real disaffected white people. You want to talk about me and them? I am them. He says Nick Fuentes is leading all of the disaffected young white men. I am a disaffected young white man. I was a precocious, intelligent, young white college student who went to Boston University, who was pro-Trump and red-pilled by Trump and animated by Trump's message of America first. And I asked questions about Israel, and I was punished for it. I did it years before Tucker Carlson started talking about Israel last year. And I sacrificed, and I was...
You niggas had to wait for a genocide to be on some bullshit. You had to wait for them to start dropping bombs to be on your bullshit. You had to wait for them to piss the whole world off to be on your bullshit. We've been on this bullshit before it was cool. I was on this bullshit before y'all knew this bullshit was even happening. I was on this bullshit when all it did was make you niggas uncomfortable to talk about.
Was targeted by the ADL, by the SPLC, by the federal government, by the conservative movement that both Candace and Tucker were a part of. Candace and Tucker had nothing to say about Israel until it became unavoidable last year. Not popular, but unavoidable. And now they want to gatekeep me out and do this personality attack and say I'm a bitter loser in my basement from Chicago. I'm a kid from Chicago. And they slipped up there because they forgot for 1 second that they're pretending to be the spokesperson for exactly that kind of person.
All right, now you're getting really into it. All right, you asking really particular questions. You know, I don't like to run. And because again, I think things through. I don't want to run from this question, and I'm glad you felt bold enough to ask it. Isn't Nick Fuentes pro-race segregation? Are modern right-wing blacks pro-race segregation too? I'm out of the loop here. My thoughts on that particular issue go like this. I think hardline legal racial segregation is probably a little bit too complicated and maybe not gonna work out legally. I mean, listen, it's totally possible you can get to that point, but I think from where we stand now, legally, it's too hard to work through. Now, from a social perspective, I think levels of social segregation already exist, and it should be quietly or politely respected. If that helps at all, right? I think levels of social segregation are relatively natural. And to that degree, I think it should be politely respected. I don't think you should be calling people racist because they like to live next to neighbors that are on the same shit as them.
Tucker's mask slipped, and he forgot for a minute that for 8 years he's been pretending to care about the plight of weird kids in their parents' basement who are broke and didn't go to an Ivy League school, living in cities that don't matter like Chicago, not like Washington, D.C. or LA or New York. And that's why he had such disdain and contempt for me in that moment. Between the personality attacks, he's lonely, he's weird, he lives in a basement. I'm sorry, did you guys forget that that's your target audience that you're trying to pander to? Did you forget that for 2 seconds? And I'm the inauthentic person? I am that person. I am a spokesman for the disaffected white man because I am one. And
that is where a kid, and he's still on the tail end of it, but still able to be called a kid, right? And he is one of those young white male kids who have been abused by the alleged system that that Tucker Carlson claims to be against, right? The same global conspiracy that Tucker Carlson has become the kind of mainstream right-wing figurehead against. A guy like Nick Fuentes has been the primary sort of archetype of that victimized position, only because he's had a level of fortitude and vision, and it kept him from being properly crushed by it all. That's why he's still here right now, to be a force to contend with. But beyond that, he is very much the thing that Tucker says he speaks for. Yet now you call him this weird gay kid in his basement from Chicago, totally mocking that entire archetype of young, disaffected white men that you say you represent, but you were never of them. You can't represent them because you're not like them. You don't even talk to them. Your entire existence has been monetarily secluded from them. There are thousands of dollars that kept you away from even rubbing shoulders or feet or toes or elbows with any of these people. You don't know what it's like to be them. And honestly, and this is like the conversation I was having with Be Brave a while ago, do the white elites actually feel any identity or affinity with average poor white people? No, they don't. There is no evidence to show that the white elites give a goddamn about any average white people. And so Tucker Carlson being a prime example of CIA bred and raised white elite class, no, you can't possibly care. How could you know? You wouldn't know. You have to be there to know.
And I'm the inauthentic person. I am that person. I am a spokesman for the disaffected white man because I am one, and you two are not. Candace Owens got married to British royalty worth $200 million after meeting him for 2 weeks on Zoom. What the fuck is even that about?
What the fuck is even that about? Candace married, she found a rich white man who was willing to go. So she went.
I want what you white hoes get, and I want it today, ASAP, not tomorrow.
And Candace is doing good. She playing her role, you know. She do live streams and she make a sandwich every now and then just to keep it official. But what the fuck is that even about, Candace?
And Tucker Carlson's dad ran the CIA's propaganda empire fighting the Soviet Union. He went and fought with the Contras when he was in college. When I was in college, I was doing a webcam show in my friend's dorm room criticizing Israel. So who's the CIA cutout? Who's the inauthentic one? Who's the crazy, hateful one? I would never describe a well-meaning young white person who's trying to get ahead as a weird kid in his basement from Chicago. And what is that supposed to mean? What is wrong with being from Chicago? What is wrong with being weird? What is wrong with living in your basement? That's a lot of people because of the problems you claim to care about. Tucker's at Turning Point USA extolling the predatory nature of usury and how it's preventing young white men from getting homes. And then the week after says, you're in your mom's basement. So which is it? Do you care about Klarna and people going into debt to order pizzas and home ownership being impossible? Or do you think that's a contemptible, low status thing to be ridiculed and mocked? Who's pandering here exactly? Because that wasn't you. You were born to the Swanson family fortune and your daddy who ran the CIA.
Yo, Tucker, real quick, is it Uchi Wally Wally or is it one mic? I need an answer, Tucker. Tucker, you know, you my nigga and all, you know, bow ties and everything, you know. But is it Uchi Wally Wally or is it one mic, Tucker? Which one is it? Because, you know, it sounds like it looks like you had a Uchi Wally life, but you get on TV with your podcast and, you know, I'm Tucker Carlson and this is the right wing. And you act like it's one mic, but it sounds like you want some Uchi Wally, like you've been living Uchi Wally this whole time, but now you're talking like it's one mic. Which one is it, Tuck? Tuck, help me out. Is it Uchi Wally or is it one mic? I need to know.
Home ownership being impossible? Or do you think that's a contemptible, low status thing to be ridiculed and mocked? Who's pandering here exactly? Because that wasn't you. You were born to the Swanson family fortune and your daddy who ran the CIA. You know, my dad didn't even graduate college. My dad worked for the tollway. His dad died of a drug overdose in the 70s. My mother's father was a garbage man in Chicago, and he committed suicide. He was a veteran of World War II.
My dad worked for TWA until 9/11 destroyed his fucking career. And then he cleaned apartments. I mean, he cleaned businesses and restaurants until he died. What the fuck makes you America? You're not America. We're poor and we work hard every day. We're America. Who the fuck are you? Bow-tied ass white nigga.
Who's the CIA cutout? Who's the poser? Who is America? I am America. Chicago is America. That's an American story. I didn't go to Yale Law School and suck Peter Thiel's dick and then get a sinecure at a venture capital firm advising Rebecca Mercer and writing Hillbilly Elegy and talking about it at the Aspen Institute. That's
real right-wingers don't suck dick. Real American men don't suck dick.
Story. I didn't go to Yale Law School and suck Peter Thiel's dick and then get a sinecure at a venture capital firm advising Rebecca Mercer and writing hillbilly elegy and talking about it at the Aspen Institute. That's your biographical credibility? How many of these disaffected white people that love Trump because he's racist went to Yale Law School and got plucked out by Peter Thiel, whoever he even is? Peter Thiel, with his fixation with the Antichrist, this homosexual who's involved with the CIA, who wants to live forever and govern the world with AI. Yeah, that's really relatable. That's really relatable. Do another show with him and Curtis Yarvin. Do another show. Do the 47th show with JD Vance. It is insulting, and it is insulting to everybody's intelligence.
And you know what? This whole thing really is about protecting JD Vance's presidential run from the raw-based anti-establishment nature of the Nick Fuentes Graper movement, because MAGA's done. I'm sorry if that shocks some of you guys right now. Let me say this definitively. I just said a minute ago, I don't even have MAGA in part of my my description on like Twitter or whatever. And I used to have it there. I did. MAGA's done. There is no MAGA. MAGA died with Trump. MAGA died on an Iranian bombing run. There is no MAGA left. And so JD Vance is the next contender to kind of carry the reins. He's going to wear MAGA like a skin suit now. And they want Tucker. I mean, they want the anti-MAGA right-wing Graper movement out of the way. Because MAGA died somewhere over the skies of Iran.
Another show. Do the 47th show with JD Vance. It is insulting, and it is insulting to everybody's intelligence for Tucker to sit there and say he doesn't know his dad is in the CIA, for him to say that I'm in the CIA. What a joke. What a sick joke. Especially after everything that's happened to me. And unlike what Candace Owens says, she says, what happened to him when he was 18? What happened to me is ongoing. Okay? Unlike Candace Owens and Tucker, I never got a contract with Ben Shapiro and Rupert Murdoch. I was on Maker Support. I was on Patreon. I was on D Live. I had to fight for everything I have. I didn't get $1 million contract from Turning Point. I didn't get $20 million from Fox News.
I can't even use Cash App. I can't even send money to my kids on fucking Cash App. That's America, you sons of bitches.
My daddy didn't get me a job in Arkansas. So ridiculous. So that
you think you're America? We're America. CIA America. No, this is America. This is the America that you say you represent. Shout out to the Grape Gang out there.
None of these niggas have motion except for me. There has to be one real nigga left in America, in this damn country.
Aspiring to be patriarchs like what white men have, that isn't freedom. That isn't going to help anybody. It's certainly not going to help black people.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.